Hello, everyone, and thank you for watching. Today is going to be a bit of a different video. Essentially, earlier this year, I did technically 3 streams, but I'll get to that in a second, where I was doing a series called Reading Reddit. And it would be where I read some Reddit stories from various popular Reddits and queer Reddits and would give my opinion on them as well as some of the comments. And the first time I did it, I really enjoyed it. The second time I did it, I was plagued with technical issues to the point where I actually was not able to save that stream. And then the third time I did it, it kind of was it hit me that maybe that wasn't going to be the kind of content that I'm going to be wanting to make regularly. And so I've since decided that I'm not going to be pursuing this as a series, and instead am just going to make this trying out Reddit. So today's video, you will see the first stream and the third stream. Again, that second one is lost, and they're just going to be one video. I'll have one little cut in between, so you can know when we're transitioning between those, and then you'll continue to hear me say that I may be doing it more in the future. I will not. We're done with the Reddit stuff. But yeah, with all that said, I hope you guys enjoy this trying out of Reddit. And if you are watching on Twitch and are wondering, like, where did the old Reddit videos go? Here, they're here. And if you were like, is this a new Reddit video? No, it's the first two we did, or it's the first two that are up. It's the only two that are up. And yeah, we're not going to be doing anymore. So with that in mind, thank you, and I hope you enjoy. Hello, nerds, and thanks for watching. It's an intro I'm trying out. Today we are, for a little bit, gonna be doing something that I watch quite a bit, but haven't actually done on here. Haven't stolen and done on here, and that is reading some Reddit stuffs and giving opinions. So it's saying server error because these are from yesterday. Um, so we have a few in queue that we're going to go over first, and then if we have time and want to do more, we'll do more. Um, but bam, bam. Okay, so we're starting with an Am I the Butt Face, which is slightly different than AITA, um, the cool, relaxed nephew of that. Um, So essentially, if it semi falls outside the rules of AITA, it usually comes here. Okay, so am I the butt face for snapping at my housemate for waking me up? I picked this one because I used to be a very snappy sleeper as well. So let's see. I have one housemate. I also, just to preface, I only picked these based off the titles. I did not read the actual contents. And I did try to find a way to hide names of stuff, but there's no way to really do that. There's, for some reason, no extension for that. So that sucks. I have one housemate. I live near. Uh-huh. I have one housemate and I live near the door, and he's a night owl. On trash day, he takes recycling out at 1 a.m. and it makes noise when the plastic bottles fall and wake me up. Been happening for a while, and I figured he'd realize it was inconsiderate and stop. Okay, there's your first problem. But it happened recently and it woke me up. So I went to him and asked him if he could take it out earlier, and I'm getting sort of mad. Okay, that there's at least the beginning of communication, but I then said, get your shit together, and he said sorry, and he'll take it out earlier. Am I the butt? A little bit. Okay. Um, so you're not a butt face for getting irritated at this thing that's happening. Um, get your shit together is a pretty assy thing to say. Especially when clearly the difference is just you guys have different timed routines. So as you said, they're a night owl and you're not. Um, just be like, here's what this you got it to where you got to your breaking point. You didn't communicate this at all before. You were just like, he'll read my mind and realize it's inconsiderate without me saying a single thing about it. And that doesn't work. Uh, yeah, so like I could see after the first time being like, oh, maybe my roommate doesn't realize what time it is. It's fine. But after the second time, when you're like, oh no, this is his routine, that's when you communicate, hey, I just wanted to say if I would appreciate it if you could take the recycling out a little bit earlier, because I'm right next to the door. So when you're taking it out, it's waking me up. Um, so I'd appreciate it if you could just do it like a little, like a few hours earlier. And then, that would be fine. But no, you were like, ah, he'll understand with no communication at all. He'll understand. And then in your head, it's happened like 50 times. But in his head, this is the first time he's hearing about this. Anyways, let's read some comments here. Did you talk to him the first time it happened, or did you expect him to read your mind? If you went straight to snapping, then you're the butt face. Could have, yeah, exactly what I was saying. Could have resolved the whole thing by using that common sense they preach about taking the recycling out themselves at an hour they find suitable. That I don't necessarily agree with. This is assuming that the recycling is in a general area and also isn't a chore that's, specifically for that roommate. I've know in some places it's like you keep your trash and recycling in your room and then you handle your trash and your recycling. Or they delegate the chores of I'll do the trash, you do the recycling kind of thing. You shouldn't take on someone else's chores because of their doing them incorrectly. Communicate, yada yada. Uh, agree that OP should have talked to him first, but any sane person should realize that making noise at 1 a.m. is inconsiderate of people around them slash neighbors and try to be quieter. Anyways, okay, not okay. Depends on the noise. Obviously, don't blast music at 1 a.m. Um, but you also should be allowed to live in your space. And recycle is a medium noise. It's a medium noise. It's not super loud. The neighbors probably didn't hear the recycle going out. Okay? Also, again, I mean, some people just don't know. Some people just don't know. All right, OP posted it. He's causing a noise disturbance and waking up his neighbors. That's rude. Okay, so not listening to the first part of OP should have talked and just being like, okay. Uh, I will take that as of course I expected him to read my mind, and snapping at him was the first time I said anything. Yeah, yeah. Bro, that's what you get living near people. They make noise, they cough, fart, and walk. Get used to it. Hope he posted again. I mean, yes, this was my first time telling him, but it's common sense. No. Yeah, yeah, it's common sense to refrain from making a sound that might wake someone up. However, many people are sound sleepers, and what wakes one up may not wake up another. That's also a good point. They are probably going to go only on the basis of themselves and the people they were around when they were growing up. So if they all were sound sleepers, then yeah. He also has no way of gauging how the sound is for you in the room. It may not sound that loud to him when the bottle drops. To be you were to be fair for not. Oh, you were the butt face. Sorry. TBF is usually to be fair. You were the butt face for not letting him know sooner and then lashing out. He would he would be the butt face if he continued, but he seems to be more mature than you and is able to take the note and improve rather than make excuses for his behavior. Oh, no. Oh, count has been suspended. Ah, shit. Hold on. He's causing a noise disturbance and waking his neighbors. That's rude. So literally copy pasting. He's not a mind reader, so he didn't uh, even know he was waking you up. Some people are hard to wake up. Maybe he thought you were one of them. You're the butt. He's literally okay. I mean, I was sleep deprived and cranky. What is that? Too? Common sense isn't all that common anymore. Stop assuming and communicate like an adult. Yes, this could have been avoided had you done that from the get-go, but here we are. You're the butt. Uh, and this, yeah. Okay, hold on. One more. I was sleep deprived and cranky. You could be all those things: sleep deprived, cranky, and a butt face for snapping at your roommate because of it. You're the asshole. If you live with other people, then you should make louder noises after 10 p.m. Both me and my spouse worked night shift for a long time. You want us to just never talk after 10 p.m. If you have to leave or go in after that, you have no choice to use the door or make some noise. But taking the trash, can easily be done at any other time. So, not a huge asshole. And you can move around after 22 p.m. Okay. But in most cases, don't appreciate a lot of noise or movement after that when they sleep. Uh, you're here to take judgment, not to judge others. Why did you ask if you're going to be arguing with everybody? He doesn't want to be called an asshole. Yeah. He can't. This is the problem. If you're coming for validation, you're probably the asshole. And then if you're coming in for actual curiosity, then yeah. All right, next one. Am I the butt face for demanding my husband draws boundaries with his female coworker? I'm okay. So based off the title, that's actually a hard one because if it's hey, this female coworker I have and I are friendly, um, then yes, you are. If it's they're clearly flirting and your husband's not doing anything to put a stop to it, and you don't have that kind of relationship where that's okay, then no. Okay, me, 28 female, and my husband, 28 male, both work picking and packing orders at a store. I haven't worked there for a month to study. Okay. He started mentioning this coworker very often, and I didn't mind it. Then they started texting daily, but my husband stopped mentioning her. Okay. 4 days ago at 6:20 a.m., she started blowing up his phone with texts. He tells me I'm gonna let her know that someone I don't get along with is working the shift today. Okay. I said, I wouldn't tell her all that. Uh, you don't know if she's friends with this person or what. It happened before. He talked about a supervisor to the wrong person. He snapped at me, raised his voice, and said, "Mind your own damn business. You don't know her. I do. I trust her." I was in shock. I didn't know what to say. He snapped at me with such anger and contempt. Okay. Okay. This has layers. Uh, yeah, no, he's definitely emotionally invested in this relationship with this girl. But also it's clear that OP has possibly made these kinds of comments before uh in other aspects. Uh Assuming cheating is not happening, which I would not assume in this case, but assuming cheating isn't happening, I would just say communication. He needs to be communicating better that, hey, I don't like people, uh, you know, instructing me on how to discuss my life and my friendships. Um, while also she's needing to say, hey, remember this time when this blew back up on you? Instead of phrasing it as, I wouldn't tell her all that. I would say, hey, are you sure it's a good idea to do this? And if so, sure. Okay, I found his response quite extreme for such a comment. Yes, absolutely. He took it to 11, and it shouldn't have taken to 11. So I checked his phone. They started talking 6 weeks ago. Days, weeks, talking from 6 a.m. to 12 at night about everything, nothing sexual, but a lot of intimacy and text from him. Worried she'd get home and works safe. She said he is the only one she spends time with at work, and they were helping each other pick orders at work, something that no one does at that work. She would send him pictures watching a movie he recommended, one time thing picture. He would talk to her early in the morning when he didn't go to work, wishing her to have a good day. He used to say they only talked about work, but during this time, he got cold towards me. Okay. He's either realizing he can have a close friendship with uh, other people for the first time. And so he is being very protective of that friendship, or he is emotionally cheating without realizing he's emotionally cheating. I confronted him, said this is not looking like a coworker's relationship, like he said. And that is true. That is to an extent true. You can make friends of your coworkers. It's true. You can make friends to where they would be friends outside of work. I've done it before. Um, but if he's lying to his wife about the type of relationship he's having with this coworker, that's the issue. Uh, and if he would like that it, and if he would like that if it was the other way around. I don't know. Let me start that sentence again. I confronted him, said this is not looking like a coworker's relationship, like he said, and he would, and if he would like that, if it was the other way around. Jesus Christ. Also, real quick. Okay, so she checked his phone immediately after the comment. Um, and the way she's writing it, as if that is the normal next step, which means that privacy already is not the most sacred thing in their relationship. Okay. He got a little defensive, said he hasn't cheated, that he's just being a nice coworker, and that he cares about her, but there's no other intention than that. Okay. I told him I feel uncomfortable with such intimacy, the fact that he's caring for her, and the fact that they talk all day nonstop. To talk all day nonstop, I do agree, is like, uh, okay. I mean, one message per hour at least from 6 a.m. to 12 at night. Okay. So that's 18 messages a day. All right. I asked him to cut it out. I don't like it. Doesn't feel right. That he should draw some boundaries and only talk to her if it's necessary about work. Okay. So once again, you're controlling the type of relationship he's able to have with this person. Which again, obviously say, hey, I don't like the amount of time you're spending with them, and it seems like it's bordering on romantic. Pull it back, y'all. Uh, but then saying, "Hey, you're not allowed to have this person as a friend at all. They can only be a colleague." That's an issue. Um, in the text, she showed much confidence in him and asked him to go and get items for her at work, and him talking to her in baby talk, diminutive talk. Okay. Okay. He is saying I'm an asshole for saying that, and that even though he wouldn't accept this the other way, okay, I wouldn't accept you doing this because I don't trust you. You would cheat on me, and I won't. Holy shit. Okay. So he's cheating on you. I said even more reason not to accept this. He finally agreed to stop talking to her, but he's still mad and saying, I'm a, what, I don't know what that is. We'll just say buttface for demanding this. And that even though he agrees he let her get too close to him, he didn't mean to cheat. And also, she has a boyfriend. I don't think that makes any difference. It does in his mind. I think he would be cheating if she didn't have a boyfriend. Am I the butt for demanding he stop talking to her? Am I overreacting? This one's layers. God. Okay. So one, he's definitely emotionally cheating, but I think he doesn't realize that necessarily. And I think this discussion that you just had with him, like, affirmed that he was doing that. But you are also trying to say you're not allowed to have a friendship at all. I think in this case, a gentler tone would have been better of like, hey, clearly this has gone too far. I'm uncomfortable with you continuing this kind of relationship with this person based off of how far it got. Um, like verbalizing it in that way rather than, you know, demanding. You should never demand something out of a relationship unless the relationship is at its breaking point already. Um, Jesus Christ. Okay. Not the but. That's a ridiculous amount of texting for people who spend all day at work together. Um, yeah. Again, unless they're friends. Not the butt face. However, may I offer another conversation you should have with your husband when he is not defensive and you are calm? Ask him how he thinks affairs start, because this innocent in his mind, maybe, is the first step in drawing closer to another woman. Okay. And build some separation between you and him. Otherwise, uh, he would have told you, passing her, I am texting her once an hour. But he didn't. At some level, he knew this was not normal. Then the text started to turn towards perceived criticism of you. What? More distance is coming between the two of you. Oh, this person's being hyperbolic and going into a what if scenario. Uh, okay. This is probably going to hurt my brain, but the sign of a healthy friendship with the opposite sex is total open communication with your spouse. He for a second feels I can't tell my wife because she will not understand. It's the exact signal he needs to say, stop, this is not okay. Of course, unless you're a total psychopath and jealous. But I don't think that's the case here. Okay. Uh, yeah, no. Here's the thing. The ultimate butt face is the husband. The husband shouldn't be snapping. The husband shouldn't have gotten to the point where it's clearly an emotional affair, and he also um shouldn't have been lying about the type of friendship that they were having at the same time. Um, the immediate going to the phone because it tells me there's other problems in the relationship that are not being addressed here. Um, my advice would be get a divorce. Genuinely, if he's not willing to respect you to the point where communication is not happening and you're not respecting privacy, the relationship's already over. It's just a matter of time. Okay, next story. Jesus Christ. Would I be the butt face if I told my best friend that Alice Hoffman is a Zionist? Okay, well, getting a little political here. Not exact. I mean, it's to a degree. Unfortunately, it's political. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Zionist is anti-Palestinian belief. Hold on. Let me get the exact definition before we start this. Um, Zionist. Okay, would like not a million notifications to pop up when I start my phone. Zionist definition. A supporter of Zionism, a person who believes in the development and protection of a Jewish nation in what is now Israel. Member of any group or of independent churches which practice a form of Christianity incorporating elements. Wait. Okay. And then from Merriam-Webster, Zionism, an international movement originally for the establishment of a Jewish nation, a Jewish national or religious community in Palestine, and later the support of modern Israel. So the way I've heard it used is anti-Palestine, and what it's sounding like is the way it's used philosophically is anti-Palestine slash pro-colonialization of Palestine. So let's get into this one. Jesus Christ. Okay. Okay, so my best friend of 10 years, decent time. Wish I knew how old you were to know how important that is to you, though, because if it's 10 years and you're 40, eh. And I are very anti-Zionism to the point that we swore off Alice Oseman for her attitudes and other things, but it just added to it. I don't know who Alice Oseman is. Let me see who Alice Oseman is. Alice Oseman. Author behind looks like a lot of gay stuff. Oh no. So that might just be the art style. I mean the one that I've seen before is Nick and Charlie and Loveless. But okay. So I don't know what's up with that, but okay. Anyway, she loves practical magic, and I did too, but I learned that the author is a Zionist, and as the second movie is coming out, my bestie has been talking about how excited she is for it. This is so not from Zionism, um, but from an author that I previously enjoyed that's not necessarily directly involved with this movie, uh, is turns out to be supportive of a thing that I find morally bankrupt. This is why I chose the story. I can relate to that. Anyways, the thing is, I know how much she loves that movie, and how much it meant to her. I also don't like being the person that's like, oh yeah, the author of this series you love is a terrible person. But it's sadly something that I usually know very well due to the nature of my job. Also, your name is Narwhal Mom, so I'm gonna take it you're in your mid late 20s or 30s. I don't want to spoil her fun because I don't think she knows, but I think she should know because of our beliefs. So, would I be the butt face if I told her and possibly ruin something she loved? Update. So, before we get into the update, hold on. Before we get into the update, okay. So I was kind of hinting at it before. I've gone through this exact same shit with Harry Potter. I ended up not telling my family about Rowling's views until it directly affected me. So like, um, my niece and nephew got like a Harry Potter book, and they all went to see some of the newer movies, and I was like, mm-hmm. I just didn't discuss it. But then they got me Harry Potter shit, and I was like, hey, I just want you to know, I'd appreciate it in the future if you didn't do this because they're very anti-trans, transphobic, and uh, like I pretty much laid it out then. I was like, I'm not going to ruin their fun until it's starting to actually like not be great. And that was also before she made her comments about one, before she had made the most recent comments in the past 2 years, but two, directly saying anyone who supports Harry Potter supports her views. So yeah, I would say in this specific case, it might be better to tell them before they see the movie because otherwise they'll learn eventually anyways, and it could taint more stuff for them. It is so much easier for me to not care about more recent Harry Potter shit, but the stuff I already enjoyed in the past, it's like, God damn it. Okay, so update. I bit the bullet and told her, and she was like, "Oh shit, I didn't even know who the author was." But she said she was glad I told her so she could find a way to enjoy the movie without giving money to them. Okay. Thank you to the people that gave me advice. I just wanted to find a way to word this without ruining something my friend loved. I get that side of it, but I'm in the group of okay, you know this person's views and you're willing to celebrate their work. That tells me all I need of like, okay. This feels like a way to advertise to the world that you're anti-Zionist. Yay, we get it. No one likes fascism. True. But this is completely unsettled attitude. Just sounds obnoxious. I think they're just having a moral dilemma, and they wanted to discuss the moral dilemma. Uh, no, I'm genuinely asking if I would be a jerk because I don't want to spoil something she enjoys. I know this is something that's very important to her. I put it in to explain why it would ruin it for her. Yeah. Your comment feels like a way to advertise to the world that you'll bend down to worship and do. Okay, we're not going to say that, but God. If this is a value that means that much to your friend, which it sounds like it is, she might appreciate you letting her know, even if it breaks her heart in the moment. Personally, I know that I wouldn't want to financially support a figure that publicly opposed my values, my valuables. Uh, obviously, it depends on the situation, which is why I think you should let her decide. I also understand not wanting to sound like an asshole by going, actually, that person is insert term here. But there are probably more constructive ways you could word it that brings the issue to her attention. Something like, isn't blank a Zionist? Or, hey, just be like, hey, by the way, not sure if you know, but yeah. I think I saw a post about that. That encourages her to look into it herself. People react to things differently, but I don't think she'd get upset at you, nor would you be an asshole by gently letting her know. If it were me, I'd rather be disillusioned and then have the opportunity to decide whether I'll keep supporting someone or not. I ended up telling her, but I worded it like, hey, I'm not trying to spoil your fun, but I wanted to tell you this. No shame at all if you still want to see it. And she was like, boo, I'll just find a way to watch it without giving them money. Not the but call out scum wherever it exists. Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, I was gonna say, yeah, tell your friend. Um, okay. Oh God. Okay. Now we're on Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for telling my half sister she never deserved my mom and she can't change my mind? Yes. Yes, you are the asshole. But let's actually read this. My dad had a child before he and my mom met. All right. Already not seeing your sister as a family member. My dad had a child, not my dad had my sister. Okay. My half sister, 33, female. Her mom walked out when she was young, not sure on the age, and left her for dad to raise. They weren't together. Okay. So already from this verbiage, I'm seeing that you see your sister as a burden. All right, not great. He met my mom not too long after, and my mom was slowly introduced to her, and they got married when my half sister was about 9 or 10. And I, 22, female, was born a year later. Okay, hey, already a little not consistent in your story because you said that uh well, I guess not inconsistent, but you were saying walked out when she was young, and that he met your mom not long after. So guess what? If she was around 9 or 10, it would have been probably around when she was 5 or 6. Um, okay. I don't remember much of my half sister. Also, there's a 11-year disparity here. So I will say, as someone who has a sibling that's 9 years older than them, I do understand that it can be a bit difficult to still see that because you're in totally different phases of life um at that time. So by the time that you were 8, they would have been like going to college and stuff. So your entire teen years probably this family member was not a part of your family. Anyways, or a part of your direct day-to-day stuff. I don't remember much of my half sister living with us. I just know she treated my mom like shit. So again, if you were in the first 8 years of your life, you saw your sister be a teenager. I just know she treated my mom like shit, would yell at mom for everything and anything, got mad at her for doing laundry, got mad at her for not doing her laundry, got mad at her for looking at her, got mad at her for making her lunch, then for not making it or making the wrong lunch. She got mad at mom if the school called my mom over something like she was sick. She got mad if my mom had to take her to the doctor instead of dad. She got mad at mom whenever someone implied mom was her mom, even if mom wasn't there. I remember my half sister telling mom she hated her. Okay, one, a lot of teenagers will say shit they don't actually mean or in the moment. But two, clearly your sister has some issues with a mother figure, and is probably the resentment she feels for her mom abandoning her is probably being targeted at your mom. But you didn't see that aspect of her life. You only saw the aspect of her taking it out on her, which shouldn't be done. But at the same time, one, get the kid into therapy because without proper mental care, like a teenager's not going to know how to assess those emotions. All right, my mom always loved my half sister. She always thought of her as her first kid, and she felt a duty to her despite everything. Okay, so that is your equal mom. In your mom's eyes, she has 2 daughters. Good. That is one, the proper way of being a parent, and two, um, like is the standpoint you should take. If your mom sees your sister as her kid, then that's the case. She was as loving to my half sister as she was to me, and she never allowed anyone to say my half sister wasn't family. Good, your mom sounds great. Some of my mom's family really disliked my half sister as an adult, and it caused some fights. Mom would defend my half sister even when she said half sister wished my mom was dead. Okay. Part of me didn't love it because I really felt like mom was wasting her time on someone who didn't deserve it. So you're at the same level as the family members that dislike your sister. You don't see your sister as your sister is the problem here. especially when my half sister had many years of therapy and my mom was always there and supporting her and would speak up for my half sister when required. Yet mom allowed some adult woman to treat her like shit. Okay. So she got the therapy, but it didn't seem to be too great. Okay. My mom died a few months ago and she left my half sister a locket that's a family heirloom for us and has passed down three, now four generations. It was always meant to go to the oldest daughter's oldest daughter. My mom left it to my half sister. I know what you're about to do, and you are the asshole. Okay. It broke my heart because my half sister always denied mom was anything to her. Apparently, she regrets it now, especially after the locket. And she was trying to start a relationship with me after we had no relationship my whole life. I have no wish for that to happen. Okay, that's okay. I told her that. She started her own personal pity party and was talking about the regrets she now has to live with, how the locket now meant so much to her. I told her she never deserved my mom or the locket and she won't ever change my mind. Yeah, that's an asshole. That, hmm. Saying she doesn't deserve the locket might actually be more of an asshole thing than that she never deserved mom. Because in your mom's eyes, that's her first daughter. And in your mom's eyes, she deserved it. So you're in turn saying that your mom didn't, your mom's emotions and her feelings towards your sister um, were like, I can't think of the exact verbiage here, but like not valid. Yeah, okay. I hope I told her I hope she feels that guilty every time she sees it. Okay, cementing the assholery. I told her I hope that locket haunts her because it's tainted being hers now. You are the asshole. She started crying, and when my dad heard what happened, he got so mad at me and told me I was wrong to say those things, and my half sister deserves compassion. Forgiveness is not always going to be given, but compassion and forgiveness are not the same thing. Told her I'm tired of her getting compassion at. I'm tired of you. I'm tired of you being treated like a human. And I'm not going to show her any because she has regrets after all these years of being shitty. Am I the asshole? Yes. 100% yes, you're the asshole. Holy shit. Holy fucking. Oh my god. Okay, sorry. I'm good. Uh okay. And where's your dad in all those fiascos during your mom still alive? I mean, did your dad allow her daughter to treat his spouse like that? Did let me rewrite that. Did your dad allow their I guess her daughter still works there to treat his her mom like that? They're none of these people are seeing the relationship that the mom had with the daughter as valid, and that's pissing me off. He would punish her and had her in therapy, but he could never get her to stop. I remember there was tension between them over the years because of it. Okay. Question: how would your mom want you to treat your half sister? Thank you. You don't have to be best friends given the history, but you can be respectful. Detent, a detent, so to speak. I've never seen that word before. In honor of your mother's memory, and ultimately, as a service to yourself, set your bitterness aside. She always wanted me to love my half sister, even when she acknowledged my half sister didn't love me. But I'm no saint like my mom, clearly. My best is walking away entirely and never seeing her again. Valid response, honestly. Because I can't have a healthy relationship with her after everything she has said and done. I'm so glad that you're cutting her out. So many people like to pull the family card or tell people to keep the peace. I'm so sorry that she got the no. Okay. See, people are entangling bad person equals good actions happening to. Here's the thing. All right. Mom, whatever you feel about the daughter, saw her first daughter as her daughter and wanted the tradition to continue. So she gave it to her first daughter. And you're out here like, yeah, but she wasn't her daughter by blood, so I really should have gotten it. She didn't deserve it. Like, fuck you, fuck you. As someone who has adopted family in the family, um, fuck you. Awful, awful people. Um, Technically, the heirloom wasn't stolen from under her at all. Thank you. She didn't even she didn't even exist in considering the mom's adopted half sister as her own. When they got together, pretty much half sister is the older daughter. Thank you. If the tradition is it passes to the oldest daughter, then it makes sense that the mom gave it to her, considering OP wasn't born until half. The half sister was around 9 or 10. Her half sister was cruel to her mom. She probably felt like her dad was trying to replace her mom. Correct. Little kids often end up feeling that way when one parent poofs and another person steps into the relationship. So I'm fortunate therapy didn't work for her and get to let go of that feeling. Correct. P still shouldn't have to play pretend, though. The bitterness sounds like something OP should deal with on her own, but the stepsister does not get to cry to OP and demand sympathy. Okay, fair. Fair. She did what she did. Now she gets to live with the regret. It sucks, not OP's problem. Sure, but the OP doesn't have to rub it in as well. I personally would have responded with, yeah, that sounds like a you problem. Go find a therapist for that. My mom was always my mom, and I always loved her and showed her that. I can't relate to your problem or something like that. Easy to judge from the sidelines with a bowl of popcorn, though. I can't relate to your problem. Honestly, yeah. Uh, Agreed, your mom shouldn't put up with abuse. It's entirely possible that if your mom could honestly look back at her life right now, she would be devastated that she hurt the child who had always loved her. Wow. Gross. This is gross. These comments are gross. Like, okay. Here's the thing. Again, bad person, bad people. Everyone here's my thing. Everyone sucks here. The older sister sucks by how she acted, what sounds like even after therapy and after adulthood, and is only finding remorse in the passing of her mom, um, and is not realizing that she damaged her relationships with the rest of her family to the point where they're not going to be not going to be there. Um, at the same time, the younger sister is being an asshole because she clearly has never seen her older sister as a sister. She does not see that as her mom's kid either, even though the mom did see that as her first daughter. She's being invalidating to her mom's entire relationship with her older sister, saying her wishes didn't matter. Um, Everyone sucks here. Holy shit. Oh god, next one. Oh, fucking hell. Okay. Am I the asshole for being rude, probably, to my in laws after they hung an American flag on our house? Okay, this is going to be interesting. Me, a 40-year-old female, and my husband, 39-year-old male, just moved into a new home with our two young kids. My in laws and I have always struggled with boundaries, especially my mother in law. I admit I am a bit particular about home decor and clothing, etc. I have a pretty strong sense of style. My husband is really go with the flow and doesn't really have much of a sense of style, so he defers to me. I probably should have seen it as a red flag that his mom bought his clothes and did his laundry until we moved in together. Seeing how it's saying young kids, you guys are probably at most in a relationship for 10 years. That means until he was at least 29. Ooh. I know those kind of people, though. To be clear, I don't do either now, as he is a grown person, and I think he can handle those tasks himself. I mean, I'll throw his laundry in with mine, but I don't go out of my way to do those tasks for him. And yeah, that's how a healthy relationship works. We both work full time, Anyhow, I digress. So my mother-in-law constantly brings things to our house to decorate. Okay. She has never had a job and spends most of her time at the mall buying gifts for other people. Okay, okay, I'm getting more of a picture here. I appreciate that she's trying to do a nice thing by giving gifts, but she is constantly bringing things over that we don't want or need. Yeah. Every time she comes over, she brings gifts multiple times a week. I've asked her, and my husband has asked her more than 10 times to stop bringing things. They typically don't fit my taste, and I hate that. I hate that I end up with a lot of stuff that I don't know what to do with aside from donate. Anyhow, at our last home, they brought us an American flag to put on our front porch. I'm politically very left-leaning and feel the flag has become more of a symbol for the right. Uh, it is still our national flag, but I do see patriotism. The flag is associated with patriotism, and patriotism is more of a trait that is on the right. That is for sure. Maybe I'm wrong, but I've heard others express this sentiment too. At our last house, we said thank you, and the flag went into storage. They asked why we didn't put it up a few times, and we just kind of said this or that, and it never came up again. The older generation's not going to understand. They still have a strong sense of nationality. Um, so back to our new house. They brought one over last night and it was up on my front porch before I even knew what was happening. I was very upset. I've been working nonstop to make our new home a lovely place to live, functionally and aesthetically. And this was just my breaking point. I want to make decisions about what goes on the facade of my home. My husband seems to think I was overreacting, and my mother-in-law said, "You can't be this upset about a flag." I said it wasn't just about the flag, it's about boundaries. She said, and I quote, because you have to control everything. Oof. As she looked up from my 4-year-old reading a book. I'm beyond pissed. More background. My husband is an on and off again recovering alcoholic. Okay. More recently, not so recovered. He has been going through detox for the last week, which I care for the home and the children. I'm on edge. Okay. So the context there is other shit in the household is already kind of stressing the situation, and then this somewhat smaller situation is happening, and it breaks the ice. So I got pretty snappy and was pretty short and rude. I spent some time in the garage trying to self-regulate, good, but couldn't adequately get myself to stop being a bit of an asshole. Okay. I I will get to some things after this. So much so that they decided to leave before dinner. Okay, not my finest moment. I feel guilty that I was being snappy towards them, but I also feel like my emotions were trampled all over. Am I crazy? Uh, Update. Thanks for all the feedback. I didn't expect to get so many responses. First off, I'm deeply sorry for not using paragraphs in the original post. This was my first time posting it, and I didn't know it was to be so upsetting to many of you. Yeah, especially like it's not so bad here, but on mobile, it's hell. I get to I get what so many of you are saying about taking the flag back, and it's not being a symbol of the right. I definitely hear you, and I've changed my mind about what flying a flag means. So thank you for that. Yeah, I've never seen flying an American flag as um solely like Republican right wing. It's just people that uh are fine with the nationality that they're in, and somewhat patriotic is what I've seen. I'm grateful for all the good advice dealing with my mother-in-law and husband. Obviously, my mother-in-law and the flag is not my biggest problem at the moment, but I've been made to feel crazy so much over the past years, and I'm questioning everything. Okay, holy shit, I have a lot to say about this because I have a lot of similarities with this. So first off, the mom knows that it bugs you. Just as a heads up, she knows it bothers you, but she doesn't care and does not respect your boundaries because it makes her feel okay. Um, she probably has some narcissistic tendencies. And usually saying, "Oh, you have to control this or that." Okay, if you think this person is so controlling, why are you pushing their buttons on that kind of stuff? And also, from the way it was written, it was a bit unclear, but it sounds as if they either hung the flag from the thing or put it on the flagpole. So without their permission, put the flag up, which is different than just delivering the flag. Um, yeah, that's a big no-no. They came into your space and they trespassed upon your space and put something up without permission. Big no-no. Good to feel pissed about it. I will never fault someone who it seems like this is one of their first breaking points. I'll never fault someone for getting to their first breaking point when it's like boundaries have been tried being boundaries have been set and they are repeatedly like to put in perspective, if with the first story with the recycling, uh again, if they had set the boundaries before and they were still doing it at 1 a.m., then you snap, I would have said you're probably not as much of an asshole. So they this issue arose. They've tried to stop it multiple times. It wouldn't stop, and then it hit its breaking point. That's fine. And separating yourself and trying to calm down is also good. Now, it sounded like they wouldn't allow you to be separate. That is also like your mother-in-law is not great. And uh I would say you may want to get tested for some sort of neurodivergence. Because being very particular and then not feeling like you, as someone I'm not going to get into specifics because I don't want to diagnose people. But all I can say is, as someone who has had several diagnoses in the past couple of years, I strongly relate to this story for reasons that neurotypical people don't tend to understand. Um, so I don't think you're necessarily controlling for the sake of like I know better and I everyone else's opinions are less than mine. I think that you're probably being particular because it's like an actual calming mental like it brings stability to your mind to have it this specific way that you're having it. Um and then it's irking you when that's not being respected. Not the asshole. Um you don't need excuses for it to be all right for you and your partner, should he choose to participate, to have complete control over the decoration of your home. It's being your home and not your mother-in-law's home, correct? I'm sorry you're having a real stressful time, but even if everything were butterflies and rosebuds at your house, that's a phrase. Your mother-in-law doesn't get to decorate your house if you don't want her to. The fact that your spouse is willing to go along with her to avoid making waves doesn't count as a decorating choice. It doesn't matter if you're talking American flags, rainbow flags, or skull and crossbones flags. That would be fucking rad. I should do that. It still has no one else's choice. It's oh sorry, it's still no one else's choice. I might be a bit dyslexic. I would go with yes, I do have control over the decoration of my own home. I appreciate that you've been trying to help. I wouldn't even say that. But the fact remains that we have different tastes, and this has to stop right now. And here is the part your husband should have said, and probably would have if you weren't having such a hard week. Should you ever say something negative about my wife regarding how she has control of everything, particularly in front of our child, you will be persona non grata in this house. Okay. Someone who fucking watched John Wick. I will not tolerate the disrespect nor undermining of my wife as a parent. Yeah, no, as someone who has seen parents being um non-combative with their own parents, Um, it is something that's instilled in them, and a lot of the time they don't even realize it's working. The disrespect to your face right in front of your kid is the bigger issue. Yeah. That is so beyond the line. If your husband can't or won't lay down the law with his mother, it's so okay to limit contact. Yeah, I don't like the terminology lay down the law with his mother as if it is the man's job to lay down the law. But aside from that, which I don't think that's necessarily what they were intending, but I went through a very similar situation with my ex and her parents after years and dozens to hundreds of times asking them to stop bringing junk over to my house. They were hoarders and would buy up everything at garage sales and then dump it off at my house. Started taking the items from them, saying thank you, and dropping them directly into the trash right in front of them. Wow, did they stop bringing stuff? No, I ended up getting a divorce. So I got rid of all the junk. Jesus Christ. I will say, yeah, also semi and have known some semi hoarder people, and yeah, they do have that tendency of not respecting those boundaries. Um, at least in my life, I've been very good at communicating, hey, I don't want this stuff. It is not a help if you bring this stuff to me. All you're doing is creating an extra trip for me to go to Goodwill. So if you ever having the inkling of bringing this stuff, one, if it makes you feel better, ask me about the particular item. Okay? And then if I'm like, no, then don't bring that item here. And that tends to work, and they'll do their own Goodwill trips. Um, okay. Is there any? I don't really see anything else. Ask her how much decorating her husband's mom did at her house. Why is empathy so difficult for some people? Treat others like you want to be treated is really the most important behavioral maxim. Not for people that don't want to be treated nice. Why do you step on people all the time? Because I want people to step on me. No. Okay, next one. Jesus Christ. I did not think we were going to be doing too many of these, but we're still going. All right. Am I the asshole for telling my mom that my marriage was a cover up? Okay. I semi remember this one. Uh, I read a little bit of it, but let's just get into it. I come from a very religious family, and so is my ex-husband. We have known each other since we were teenagers and had grown together. After finishing high school, we decided to leave the church together, but it would be difficult since both of our families were very strict. My parents wanted me to marry someone from the same church. Ooh, really, really religious. Okay. But wouldn't stop introducing me to older gross men. Yeah, that's how that tends to go. My ex husband told me that he was gay and was too scared of coming out because he would lose everything. I know that probably sounds a little dramatic in this sect of the internet, but no, that's genuinely how that shit tends to go down. Honestly, losing everything would be like middle of the road response that I would expect in that kind of setting. Um, okay. So yeah, it safety concerns there. I would not advise someone to come out in that setting. So I had the idea of getting married together. This was pretty common in the 90s, if I remember correctly. Of course, the real story is way longer than that, but I wasn't interested in marriage and he wanted to keep his family happy. And since he was from our church, my parents wouldn't protest. So we did it. And we stayed married for 4 years. Then his parents died because during the this was like recent. Because during the pandemic, they would do anything except listening to a doctor. Yeah, after everything was done, funeral and inheritance, we decided to move far away and lose contact with a lot of people from our church. Good. After some time, he decided to come out and we agreed on divorcing since the cover up wouldn't be necessary anymore. And I never had real romantic feelings for him, but got to love him in a way. Yeah, that's normal. Since we both like theatrics, I played the poor, heartbroken wife who just discovered her marriage was a lie's part. And it was funny seeing the reactions of the people, except for our new friends, because we were honest about our arrangement from the beginning. He is now living as himself for the first time. That's awesome. And also, yeah, if I was in this situation, I probably would do the same thing. Since this is his first bride, he was so excited about it and showing off his first boyfriend. And as his ex-wife, I was so happy about him. I left comments on his public posts. Oh, I see what's gonna happen. Now, I don't know how my mom found out, but she texted me angry asking why I was still talking to my. I know exactly what slurs they used. Godless cheating ex. I told her that I'm happy he's happy, but she still insisted. And then I told her that I knew from the beginning. That just set her off because she had a lot of effort. She had put a lot of effort into helping us in our marriage, but it was a lie from the beginning. I just told her it wasn't a lie to me. I came up with the idea. She called me a lot of names and said, I will make sure everyone here knows about your betrayal. And I was just like, okay. I don't think I did anything wrong, but I would, but I've been wrong many times before, so I wonder if her feelings are justified. She has been a good mother to me after all. No, she hasn't. No, she hasn't. No, she hasn't. No, she hasn't. Ooh. Okay, so yeah, if you're questioning, if you did anything wrong in this situation and you're genuinely like not sure, that's because she has probably raised you to make sure that you're never sure about your feelings as they go against the church. So maybe she did some good things, you're alive, but that's literally the bare minimum of what a parent should do. And bare minimum and good are not the same things. It does sound like she helped you out. Probably getting married. You said she put a lot of effort into helping us in our marriage. That probably in this aspect means financially, and potentially like other things. So that is a bit deceiving. Um, but at the same time, if they were legitimate problems that you were having, again, she's a parent. If it's not necessarily taking advantage, um, not, I would say you're not the asshole, and you're definitely not the asshole for not telling her the original question of not telling my mom that the marriage was cover up. No, because guess what? This reaction would have been 10 times worse at the beginning of the marriage and would have resulted in her thinking you were being manipulated by this man and that would probably escalate the situation for him. Um, so no, I would say you did the right things there. I think the only negative might be, hey, the getting support. The getting support. Here's the thing: if it was a friend and you knew their views, I would say, yeah, you probably shouldn't be getting support from them and stuff that they wouldn't agree with. But it's your mom, and so like put the shoe on the other foot. If you were completely honest with her from the beginning about this situation that she should have been okay with, um, it, would you expect her to still support it as she should? Um, so it's a little cheeky, but overall not the asshole, in my opinion. Uh, OP has offered the following explanation as to why they think they may be the asshole. I married my gay ex-husband as I didn't read the judgment bot thing. We have an easy way out of our church and our families. And we divorced and we're now good friends. It's okay. Okay. Info. When you say I played the poor heartbroken wife who just discovered her marriage was a lie part, did you actually try to solicit comfort and support from people? Because if so, then for sure everyone sucks here. Edit. Also, how extravagant was the wedding? Did people have to travel for it? And did they send gifts? If so, that also adds to the potential um, everyone sucks here info that just set her off because she had put a lot of what did this entail? Yeah, I want to a lot of not the assholes. And your mom wasn't a good mom. Good mothers want what is best for their children, and they encourage growth, not pin them down to their own prejudices and biases. Yeah. Uh, okay. As a gay man who enjoys the company of many wonderful straight female allies, I love you for this. She didn't ever say she was straight. For protecting him from his horrible family. In fact, she was leaning more on potentially Ace in the text there, never wanting to get married, which is fine. Um, okay, so most people saying not the asshole, which is good. Of course, her feelings are justified. She thought she was helping and participating in your life all this time, but it was all a lie. I understand yours and her beliefs don't line up, and that's scary to stand against your family and communicate it, but that's no excuse for playing out a lie like that. You and your ex-husband were adults and should have handled the situation better. I completely understand why your mom is upset. Okay. No. Also, you mentioned that you and your hubby are very theatrical and thought it would be funny to play out the entire breakup as a huge joke. It is funny. I'm going to guess that this isn't the first time you've had flippantly disregarded people's feelings. Those people are bigots and their feelings shouldn't be OP's priority. If husband's parents didn't raise him to know he would be disowned, or worse, for being honest, OP's parents didn't try and marry her off to creep all men to keep her in the cult, they wouldn't have had to invent the creative solution of their marriage. You reap what you sow, right? I don't think her parents had much regard for her feelings if they were actively trying to. Yep. Why did you tell her? She found out. uh, yeah, no, not the asshole. Good on you for getting him out of that situation and getting yourself out of that situation. Um, yeah, no. And cut contact with your mom is probably the best I can do. Or let it, like, I don't know. If she, yeah, no. She was using slurs, no. She knows. Cut contact with your mom. Okay. So this one is from Am I the X? And the post is from relationship advice, but it was removed. So we're going to be reading the auto mod. Um, but it's labeled lying to boyfriend about something. And the original title was I 20-year-old female screwed up real bad, lying to my boyfriend, who's a 22 male about a close friend. How can I fix this? Okay. Me and my boyfriend, let's call him Dave, have been dating for 7 months, which can be a long time or not so long, depending on things. This is my first serious relationship ever and has been amazing so far. So you see it as okay. He's all I've ever wanted in a guy, and I might have ruined that. For some background, I have a few really close guy friends, and I was especially close with one of them when we met a year ago. A month later, he confessed to me, which I rejected because I did not feel the same way. This topic was then brushed aside because we agreed that it wouldn't affect our friendship. 3 months later, I met Dave, and we started dating a month later. Okay, so 3 months after the confession from this friend, you met your current boyfriend. Okay. So the thing is, I never mentioned my past with that guy friend to Dave, partially because I believed that we left it in the past, and partially because I knew he would ask me to cut all the relationship with him. Okay, if you know he's going to say that, then uh, this might not be the guy for you. Which was the right thing to do, I know. No. What? Heterosexuals. You can have friends that have been attracted to you or have had feelings for you. Um, oh God, there should be a time apart, but that doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't give. If there's feelings there, likely it's because you guys have a close relationship. That can still be a friendship. Oh, God. Okay. Excuse me. I just don't want to lose a close friend over it. Okay, so you see him as a close friend. Yeah, you don't have to. Ah, these straights. Okay, whenever Dave brought up the topic of my guy friends, I told him to trust me and I would do whatever is right if they made a move on me. Okay, yesterday he was at an event with his friends, and a few of my own friends were also there. Apparently, someone told him that I had something going on with my guy friend. Okay. I got a lot of angry texts from him and a few calls from my own friend telling me Dave was so upset. Okay, so he believes a rumor over you with no evidence. All right. So he already had this prejudice against you having male friends and is being sexist, say, basically, of saying there's no way I can trust a woman with male friends. Okay. I told Dave the truth about how we were close with a friend when we first met, but then nothing happened. But he didn't listen to me. Told me he didn't want to believe me anymore because I broke his trust, which really gave me a reality check. No, they gave you a reality check in the wrong way. He he called me a few hurtful things, and I'll give him that because I understand that he was hurting and he wanted me to hurt too. I am now blocked on everywhere. Jesus Christ. Good. But not for him. Good for you. God. Okay. I know some of you are all going to tell me that I'm not sorry because I lied. I'm sorry because I got caught. One, you technically didn't lie. You omitted truth because it wasn't important. Maybe that's true, but I am also terribly sorry and I want to fix this because I love him and losing him over something like this is really upsetting me. Ooh, um, all my friends advised me to give him some time and then see what happens, but I wanted some other advice. Can I fix this? If so, how? Okay, how old are you again? 20, and he's 22. Okay, move on. Um, he's clearly not mature enough, and this isn't digging at like 22. I don't expect men to be mature at 22. But he's clearly not mature enough to realize that friendships can happen between people of attracting genders, I will say. And you're clearly not old enough to have self worth over certain things. If he's calling you names and shit, any amount of disrespect, it doesn't matter if he's mad. Guess what? I've gotten mad at my spouse. My spouse has gotten mad at me. You know what we don't do? Call each other, legitimately call each other names, or disrespect each other when we're upset, because it's not a get out of jail free card being mad. Um, and also, if he's controlling to the point of where he wants you to cut a relationship because a guy before you knew this other guy, uh, like asked you out, like no, I'm sorry, dump him, keep him blocked. Okay, maybe it's me outing myself as older, but the idea that you can't have guy friends who may be attracted to you if you're in a relationship is not just ridiculous to me, it's unhealthy too. She rejected this other guy, never had a relationship with him, and it sounds like people straight up fed Dave bullshit about her and him. Also, yeah, the fact that he was believing a fake rumor over, like, he already doesn't have the maturity to trust you. He already thinks you're either cheating or will cheat, even though you probably won't. Not healthy. How is this her fault? Like, not to be all the youths today. I'm in my 40s, but like, no, I'm not gonna unfollow every dude on social media. I'm not going to stop being friends with men who may have made a pass at me. If I'm not gonna cheat, why the fuck should I? Their feelings aren't my problem. The only thing I can control is how I react. That just all sounds really immature to me. Yeah. Once I was three-fourths through my once I was three-fourths through, my only thought was, they all sound very young. I lie. I had another thought. There's no past. What past is she supposed to confess to? One of my guy friends once said he liked me. I turned him down. We're still friends. They never kissed. What the heck? She dodged a bullet. This loser who dumps her over literally nothing is all she ever wanted in a guy. OP dream bigger. Original poster. Yeah, I have a near identical story, and now my guy friend and my husband go on pro dates. Nice. Yeah, there are people on the original post calling her friend a past fling. Jesus Christ. And where was that from? Relationship advice? Jesus Christ. And I'm just like, what the fuck? He, he confessed feelings that she didn't reciprocate. Pretty sure that just happens to, to every woman that has ever had male friends. But okay, yeah, pretty much. Definitely doesn't make it a pass fling. Basically, all the comments on OP are calling her a liar or shady, and it's just really weird. I didn't even argue with anyone because it's like beating a dead horse, or whatever that saying is. Maybe I'm now an old person, but Dave is insecure as fuck and let people put untrue shit in his head, and I guess somehow that's all her fault. Yeah. When my husband and I separated, all but one of his friends started hitting me up immediately, and by immediately, I mean that very day. Meanwhile, not a single one of my guy friends has tried anything. I think it says a lot about who he was a person as who he was as a person that made him so paranoid about my guy friend. Yes, thank you. I didn't even because he and his own friends were scummy and would 100% sleep with each other's wives and girlfriends given the opportunity. Dave knows what kind of people he hangs out with and probably can't imagine a world where her friends aren't as creepy as he is. Projection at his finest. Yeah, no, that's also very true. Either that can be true, or it's like you see that so much in TV and stuff. That's why it's like if he was 30, I would 100% agree with that. But the fact that 22, like we teach this on television a lot. But yeah, stay broken up, work on yourself, uh, get some self worth. Yeah. Whew. And you know what? Find some of your ex's friends and become their friends. All right. This is also from Am I the X? It was also removed. But was originally from Am I the Asshole? So the original title was Am I the Asshole for feeding my girlfriend dinner with animal products, knowing she's vegan? All right. And the answer immediately yes, but let's read this. My girlfriend and I live together, and we usually handle our own cooking and grocery shopping. Recently, she stopped doing her own shopping and cooking, asking me to take over these tasks. I told her I wasn't comfortable cooking for her because I might accidentally include non vegan ingredients, and she insisted that since I work from home, I have plenty of time to handle the groceries and cooking as she's too tired after commuting to work. Okay. Starting to lean a little more on the other side. Or everyone sucks here. Last week, frustrated with the situation, I made a okay, everyone sucks here. I made a meal with meat products and served it to her, letting her assume it was vegan. After she finished eating, she asked what was in it, and I told her it contained meat. She was disgusted, started cussing me out, packed her bags, and left. We haven't spoken since. I know I shouldn't have done it, and I want to apologize. I feel she underestimates the work I do at home, like cleaning, feeding the pets, and doing laundry. Okay. All I asked was for her to make her own food, but it seemed that's too much for her. Yeah, no, everyone sucks here. Um, Saying, "Hey, you're doing this now because I'm too tired." That's not communicating. That's making an order without communicating. Um, like at the same time, like it is normal for spouses to cook for each other as long as it's equal. Um, but if like you're not invalid for feeling uncomfortable, like what if I fuck up and like I use my milk without and not almond milk or some shit, or I'm using butter and not margarine. Like, yeah, no, that's completely valid. And being immediately disregarded of I'm too tired, you'll be fine. You have time. You're at home. That's also disregarding your time. At the same time, uh, vengeance is never the answer. Just that's when I would have been like, "Hey, no, I'm not doing this." And you'll either, we need either equal respect in this relationship or there is no relationship. And it sounds like there is no relationship. I feel she underestimates the work I do at home, like cleaning, feeding the pets, and doing laundry. All I asked was for her to make her own food, but that seemed too much for her. So instead of talking, it was way easier to torpedo the whole relationship. Makes sense. That's for both sides, though. Torpedo is the right word here. OP took aim on one thing he had to try and avoid and ran full speed right into it. He Leroy Jenkins himself into a breakup. At least he's chicken. If he reacts like that for such a thing, I don't want to imagine how he would ask for worse stuff happening. Yeah. Why do people date people they don't like? My best friend is a vegetarian. I host her at my house and I make separate vegetarian meat meals if my boyfriend and her will be there together. Last time I did it, I had them both saying I didn't really need to go through all the effort. She said she would have snacks. I said she would have. He said he would have the veg meal. I do both because fuck it, I love them. But also, I can say no, I'm not making veg, or no, I'm not cooking. We are having snacks, etc. I wouldn't deceive people I love to prove a point. For fuck's sake. Yeah. Everyone sucks. Both of you need to grow up. Yep. Okay. Oh, we're on to the gay stuff. On to the queers. All right. I'm allowed to say these things. Okay. We're on Ask Transgender, a place that I have been in the past, but on a different account. Okay. Do I need to have a dead name? There's a reason I picked this one, even though it's pretty small. I'm 46, pre everything trans, assigned male at birth, and didn't ever think I would transition. But now the past 2 years have been thinking about it. I've, I gotta get into like I forget how long it takes some people to process. Uh, okay. I have tried different names, but the one I was born with as its gender neutral name, do I have to change it? And would it hurt or help in the long run if I didn't? It would actually help in the long run if you didn't. For because it's a pain in the ass to legally change your name as someone who hasn't gone through that process yet. Um, it is daunting. And no, you don't need a dead name. A lot of people are comfortable with their names assigned at birth, or names given at birth, I guess. Dylan Mulvaney is a good example of this happening. I personally have a dead name because that name was very closely tied to, and not just trans shit, but just tied to an identity and an upbringing that was overly negative. And I did see the name, even though my birth name was also gender neutral, and I did see the name more masculine. It doesn't help that my birth name was also a very common trans man name. Uh, so getting into the trans community, seeing it a lot more often. Um, and it was a more unique name growing up, so it was one of those names that I was hyper aware of when it showed up. And so becoming hyper aware of it and also not liking it. But there was other aspects of it to me as well. That I had never fully liked my birth name. So yeah. It's your choice if you're comfortable with your name, then keep it correct. You don't have to change your name if you don't want to. In a different world where your birth names weren't so strongly gendered, I might have kept it too, and it eliminates the hassle that is the legal name change process. If you want to mark your transition by renaming yourself with your old name as a new gender, that's something you can do too. So, yeah, was it Chris from Mr. Beast went from CH to K, I believe. Um, that is also something that can be done with certain names. Uh, but all trans people pick and choose which parts of their old selves to keep and which parts of themselves to change. Your name can definitely be one of the things you keep. We'll do one last one. It's your name and your journey. It's up to you what to do with it, but you don't have to do anything. If you like your name and you think it still fits you, then you could, of course, keep using it. If you change your mind later on, you could change it later too. You can even change it multiple times if that's what you need. God, yeah. Um, yeah, keeping old parts of yourself. For me, I think I probably have what most trans films would yell at me about keeping the old about myself, and that is my wardrobe. Excuse me, but my oversized t-shirts are comfy. Okay. Another one from Ask Transgender. Is a trans woman who is exclusively into other women, straight, lesbian, or something else? Lesbian. Lesbian. Yep. I was having a mostly unrelated discussion about split attraction, and somebody said that sexually referred to the sexuality referred to this biological sex of who you are attracted to at all than who you are sexually attracted to. Uh, that sentence doesn't seem correct, but okay. I brought up the implication of that with trans folks and how also non-binary, and how under other person's definitions that would mean that somebody who is trans would still have their sexuality determination by what they were assigned at birth. In my example, using a trans woman who is sexually attracted to other women, it says she would homosexual. Okay, I'm guessing English isn't first language here. That's fine, but saying okay. Several people called me a transphobe for disregarding that there's a difference between trans and cis women. Okay, so you're arguing that would be a straight relationship. Okay. I've always heard trans women are women, so I assume that would mean it is a woman attracted to another woman, which would be homosexual. Yeah, but I'm not sure if I've ever actually heard anybody who is trans refer them refer to their sexuality, so I don't really have anything backing me up. Am I right that the correct term would be homosexual, or would she be heterosexual even though she's attracted to other? It'd be no, yeah, homosexual. You wrote it a bit odd, but okay. Oh, I see. Called you transphobic for disregarding that there's a difference. No, that's not transphobic. Um, I had a family member who's no longer in my life. Uh, Early on, I had thought I was potentially a lesbian, but that label didn't exactly feel right to me. Um, and they were pretty much saying that, well, yeah, because you're not biologically a woman. And I'm like, red flags. A lot of red flags in that family dynamic. But anyways, um, I came to realize that was because at the time, even though I wasn't fully aware I was attracted to men, I was fully aware I was still attracted to many non-binary genders. Um, and so, like, that's why it didn't feel right because even though it's like I've never seen non-binary people as their assigned gender at birth, and so that's where the crosshairs were or the wires were crossing incorrectly in my brain of like, well, that's why lesbian doesn't work, even though my main attraction is to women. And then I was like, oh yeah, men can sometimes be hot too. Um, I'm gonna make a reference to the Nintendo Switch Direct from earlier in this stream that in the highlight isn't gonna make sense, but Leo's an adult, right? Anyways, it's hard to tell with Final Fantasy characters sometimes. Anyways, uh, yeah. So personally, I'm bi. Um, but yeah, it, take the cis and trans are what's it? Not adjectives. The like they're descriptors. It's like saying tall. It's like saying short. So yeah, woman attracted to another woman. That's lesbian. That's exactly what this says. Bam, done. It needs to be said so often. In my personal experience, the moment I learned, really just came to the conclusion two trans women are valid lesbians was the moment I wanted to transition badly. But I had to stay in the closet for a while longer. Trans lesbians are valid. Yep. Biological sex is complicated, and the phrase itself has no medical definition. Trans women are not male women, correct? And may not even have penises. Okay, getting a little descriptive here. And how that functions changes on hormones, correct? And many don't even want to use them if they have them. That said, you are correct. Trans women are women, so trans women who are exclusively into other women are lesbians. Man who is into trans women exclusively, or in addition to cis women, is straight. He would not be gay. Correct. And if you're exclusively into women and trans women, and you for some reason think that makes you bi, that is also incorrect. Uh, Thanks. I was pretty sure of that, but since I'm cis, how long we got? Well, it's Ask Transgender, so it never. No, I'm not gonna play the funny game. And the person I was arguing with says she is trans. I didn't feel like I was qualified to argue back without a second opinion. Yeah, it's best to leave it alone if she's trans. The internalized shame can be strong there. Yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, that's probably the best idea, but I still glad I double checked and made sure I understood properly. And don't owe a bunch of people apologies. By any chance, is that person a straight trans woman? So into men. I don't really know her sexuality, only that she is a trans woman, so she can't be a bigot. That's not true. And that a trans woman attracted to a cis woman is heterosexual. That's not true, since they are different biological sexes. This is either internalized transphobia or um, internalized homophobia. And that she claims me being panromantic automatically means I am also pansexual. That is also incorrect. Oh, she's bigot. That is definitely clear. I just wanted to make sure I was doing wonderful. Yeah, no. For a long time, I, because you know parts of yourself without accepting parts of yourself. But for a long time, I would tell people, "Yeah, I'm straight. Yeah, I'm straight. Totally straight." And then if anyone wanted like more of a thing, I would be like heterosexual but panromantic, because I knew that emotionally I could fall for whoever. In truth, now that I'm realized like my preferences and the other thing, like there are multiple forms of attraction. There's three main ones: sexual, romantic, and aesthetic. Um, and we're still where only sexual and romantic are commonly talked about. We're just now getting into the romantic being commonly talked about, honestly. Aesthetic isn't even really talked about all that much outside of like ace and demi circles. But it should be, because I feel like a lot of people would realize certain things about themselves. Anyways, yeah, no. The only time that a woman being exclusively attracted to another woman, not being lesbian necessarily, is again if it's non-binary, um, in the sense of like demi, because there's non-binaries that is still woman. Um, yeah. Anyways, last one that I had queued up, and probably last one of the stream because my throat's starting to go. I think I'll do one more thing after this, but this will be the last Reddit that we read. But we might do this again. I've actually been having a great time. Oh no. So this is from Ask LGBT. My sister talks as if she supports queer people, but doesn't show it. Okay, I am a 19-year-old trans femme person, the youngest in the family. My family are very evangelical with incredibly bigoted beliefs. I don't think this person can't type. I think this person's typing on a phone and is correcting things. Growing up, we were all taught conservative beliefs. I unfortunately stood by those beliefs when I was younger. I regret that now. That's common. My sister, though, was very much the black sheep. She would consider herself a feminist and argued that gay people deserved rights, which is like the bare minimum. But when you live in the Bible Belt, that's a lot. It is. She always spoke as if she was left leaning, but shows a lot of respect towards our parents. Hmm. She used to be a lot more masculine, preferring male clothes. Okay, I'm seeing a bit of a red flag with Opie here, but okay. My parents forced her a lot of the time to wear feminine clothes. Now she wears more feminine clothing and just complains about it. Okay. She started referring to herself as asexual for a while. Cool. I was young and I didn't know what it was, so I accepted it, thankfully. She stopped though, and I'm unsure why. Maybe she found out she's Demi. When I came out to, or not Ace, when I came out to my family, or when I came out, my family was disgusted and believed I was destroying the family. I believed she was someone I could rely on. But I reached out and she said I was making a mistake. Okay. I've okay. I've been on DIY HRT for a year behind their back because I was in a deep pit and know what my parents believe. Okay, if you're in the Bible Belt, I get that you may not have informed consent, but DIY is usually a very dangerous game. Would not recommend. My sister said she was going through hard times, but she fought through it, and I'm letting those feelings control me. I don't understand why she's making me feel horrible and refusing to use my preferred gender markers. It makes me feel so annoyed because she still makes queer supportive jokes as if she cares, but treats me like I'm still a boy. She also is obsessed with Harry Potter, but when I bring up JK, she just deflects. I don't know how to bring all this up. What do I do? Do I try and cut her off or have a deep conversation? The rest of my family are a lost cause. She's a turf, probably. To her, queer is gay, not trans. Um, and also, it sounds like the berating from your parents has worked, and maybe she has always been that way. And rebellious phase can be a thing, so she may have done that growing up. I will say, I'm not exactly liking. She used to be a lot more masculine, preferring male clothing. And what I feel like you might be implying there. This needs to be said within the trans community a lot. Um, Masculinity, femininity, and gender are different things. Gender expression and gender are different things. The reason why I don't necessarily call myself trans femme all the time because I am not very feminine, aside from my hair. Um, and there is a lot of internal like bigotry around that kind of shit. So, your sister Mira just been a tomboy. Anyways, your sister is what's called a trans exclusionary radical feminist or TERF. They're more or less misandrous, pretending to call themselves feminists. They tend to believe that womanhood is about suffering, and anyone with is a dangerous predator. In other words, she's a lost cause. Yeah, probably, especially if she's like aware of Rowling and just avoids it rather than discussing it. I still don't understand. She insists on gendering others correctly. She was annoyed when my brother misgendered Hunter Schafer. Brought up Elliot Page before, and she never slipped and misgendered him. Not discounting what you said. I just mean to add context. Okay. No, yeah, that's good. Then I don't understand. My guess is she sees herself in you and is having trouble grappling with that. No. Whether or not that means she's trans and in denial, I can't say it. No. Yeah, I'm just putting it off. I do a lot. I just need to have a full, deep conversation rather than a couple of short conversations. I'll be able to know her feeling until I do. Thank you. Okay. No, I think I know. So if not a turf, actual queer supporting, then it's not in my family though kind of situation probably. And she will probably be that way as long as she is having a close relationship with your parents, assuming that's where it's coming from. Um, Yeah, no, genuinely, it's just sounding like she's being fed a bunch of shit from the family around her, and that is like she's saying things she doesn't necessarily believe because you're also a part of that family. Um, I hope she gets better, and I hope you get better care, and yeah. So 19's really young. I'm sorry. I hope things go well for you. Um, get out of the Bible Belt. The next few years are going to be hell in the Bible Belt. Um, uh, okay. Why don't we refresh? Let's do one last Am I the Asshole? This is from 9 hours ago. Am I the asshole for telling my sister to stop screaming at me when I didn't choose my name? Our parents did. I'm 17, female, the youngest of five, and my oldest sister, Barbara, 27. Ooh. Five kids, 10-year difference, so probably 2 years in between each kid. Ooh, I'm sorry. Okay, so Barbara is expecting a baby girl in July. Barbara and I were never really close. Again, 10-year age difference. Yeah. She always resented me more than our other siblings, though she has issues with two others as well and isn't very close to them. Okay. That's a bit. Um, there was a small bit of resentment in towards me because I'm the youngest and had a 9 year older brother, and there was some resentment when I was growing up and getting gifts for like birthdays and stuff, and they were at the age where they were working for their stuff. But it was like, hey, remember this is what happened to you when you were this age, or we're in a better situation than when you were this age, um, kind of thing. But yeah. Is it very close to them? But me, oh, she has said multiple times our family would have been better off if her parents never had me. Okay, so that's not good. She blames her dislike on me being such a baby my whole life and how our parents coddled me. Okay, yeah. None of my other siblings feel the same way she does. My brothers, the two siblings she has issue with, said Barbara always had weird resentments about the three of us. Right. Okay. I'm seeing some other things. My other sister, the one sibling she has a good relationship with, told me to ignore Barbara, and her hate of me is irrational and comes from her being envious of another girl in the family, if anything. Correct. From what my sister told me, Barbara feels life would have been better with just the two of them in the family. So it is what it is. I give up on expecting our relationship to improve with time. Good. Because, yeah, no, this is not going to happen. Now I feel I might have another piece of the puzzle of why she hates me. And this is centered around names. My name is Lark. Are these also your real names? Oh, no. Okay. My name is Lark, which, by the way, fucking cool name. And apparently Barbara loves the name and wants to name her baby Lark, but she doesn't want to name her after me. Then she shouldn't. Uh, doesn't want us to share a name, and she feels like it's unfair that Lark is off the table all because of me. Dude, okay, I do get that though. Like, I don't hate the person over that. But like, yeah, no, there's some people who have cool names. There's like there were some names that were on the table for me to choose for myself that I decided not to because it would be odd. One was the name of a family dog. Uh, but yeah, no. Uh, I get that. That's like a silly little thing. Anyways, uh, doesn't want to name her. Doesn't want to share names. It's so unfair that Lark is off the table because of me. That's not accurate at all. When it's not, but her hatred of me is why she has it off the table. Also correct. You can get over yourself. She doesn't want her daughter to grow up close to me. She said it herself. Okay, then duh. This was mentioned on Saturday, and Barbara went from grumbling about it to screaming into my face that it was so unfair, that I was so selfish, and she would never name her kid after me, and why did I have to steal the name she wanted most for her daughter? Do you not realize your parents exist? It pissed me off, and I told her to shut up and stop screaming at me because I didn't choose my name. Our parents did, and I had no say in what they named me. I also accused her of being jealous of my name and hating me so passionately for that. But I told her I chose none of our names, and I've never prevented her from naming her daughter Lark. Barbara and her husband accused me of dismissing her feelings. No, my siblings and parents told her to leave and they stood on my side. Correct, but Barbara's husband said I had the chance to really be a good sister and I chose instead to treat her like she was unreasonable because she is. I think she was. The rest of the family do too, but am I the asshole for what I said? No, you stood up for yourself and pointed out reality. Um, Told my sister to stop screaming at me, which I didn't choose my name. Our parents did. I also went into her jealousy and stuff. She clearly was upset, and I always knew she had deep resentment and hatred for me. I could have handled this gently and tried to get her to open up better. You have no reason to do it gently when she's not being gentle in the beginning. Instead, I got pissed off that she was talking to me that way. The whole being a good sister thing is really sticking to me, and why I have some nagging doubts by myself here. Hey, she's the older sister. Guess whose responsibility it usually lies on to be a good sister? Not the asshole. It seems like you need to cut her off or go low contact. She's obviously got some major jealousy issues she needs help with. If she brings it up, ignore her and go to your parents if you can. I think no low contact will be the only way once I turn 18. Clearly, we'll never be able to have a civil relationship. She and her husband sound too unhinged to have a kid. Yeah. Hope your parents are keeping a close eye on them. Her parents allow this behavior to happen, continue, fester, and grow into the delulu it is today. Do you really think they're much better? Okay. Oof. Uh, Parents are clearly shitty. Having four more kids after the first one is uncomfortable is crazy. What? I think that's a joke, but if it's not, their child does not dictate their lives. Also, the child would have been two. The other, oh god, assuming there's no twins. Actually, I didn't consider that. Their child doesn't dictate their lives. They should have gotten her into therapy, correct, or paid attention to how she was treating her siblings, correct. Correct that behavior from the beginning. It's crazy that a 10-year-old child should dictate what adults do. Yeah, a child shouldn't dictate someone's life, but they shouldn't have gotten her. But they should also have gotten her help before having four more children. You don't know these problems. Now the other kids have to deal with this behavior as it's gotten worse. I mean, they probably had more kids before the behavior showed itself. Okay. Yeah. Um. Yeah. No. A lot of it does lie on the parents. And I can say, having been in a similar dynamic, um, sometimes it's not even the parenting, but sometimes the parenting can get to like, I love my kid, and disciplining them is clearly not love. Um, which isn't necessarily true. Or holding them responsible. Um, yeah. It sucks, but you did not, you're not the asshole in this situation. You did, you stood up for yourself. Honestly, proud of a 17-year-old who's able to do that to someone 10 years their senior, and in what seems to be like a concise way. You said I told her to shut up and stop screaming at me, not I yelled at her to shut up and stop screaming. I didn't choose her name, her parents did. And then, yeah, you seem to lay everything out correctly. Um, yeah, no, not the asshole. That was a lot of fucking stuff. Um, and I don't know how to check on the ones that we did today. Um, but yeah, if you guys like this stuff, let me know. Oh, here's all the ones. Um, I think the half sister one was probably the one that pissed me off the most. American Flag one might be the one I was able to. American Flag one or the one we just read was the one that I was able to relate to the most. Um, lying to my boyfriend about something is just straight being dumb. Vegan is just dumb. Veganism isn't dumb. The situation that they both put themselves into was dumb. Don't need to have a dead name. Lesbians exist. Your sisters needs to get out of parents' area. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I might do this again in the future. Maybe with some different Reddits though. Am I the asshole is good. Maybe some more queer specific ones. Because I know I threw some in here, but I could probably talk a bit more. Like my AMAB partner coming out as gender fluid, though I may have been supported, I don't know how to feel about them when they are femme. How can I feel better without making my partner feel guilty? So yeah, stuff like that. Maybe next time. But if you're watching the VOD, stay tuned. And if you are watching the highlight, thank you so much for watching. And I will see you next time. Okay, that was something. I hope you enjoyed the first stream of our reading Reddit. Again, reminder that the second one is lost. So here is the third and final one for you guys. I hope you enjoy. Hello, everyone, and thank you for watching. Today, we are back with reading some Reddit stuff. I have no exact plans on what we're going to do today. This is technically the third time we're doing this, but the last time we did it for Pride Month, unfortunately, the audio got fucked up. So, uh, sorry. So yeah. Disregarding that, we're gonna have no structure to this one today. And let's just see some posts. AI, am I the asshole for wanting my partner to apologize? Sounds good. Okay, that one seems interesting. All right, let's get into these. All right, holy shit. Okay. So, taking recreational HRT as a cis man, dumb idea. Okay. Probably, but let's see. Uh, I'm a 22-year-old dude with a long history of experimenting with random substances out of curiosity. Okay. 22 and long history, not exactly things that go together, but okay. A few years ago, I purchased a load of estradiol and I don't know what this is. Uh, and just don't advertise where you get that stuff. And took 50 milligram oral Bica and 2 milligram E for. I'm gonna assume Bica is a testosterone blocker. The idea had always intrigued me: how much of the emotional effects of sex hormones are real, and how much is stereotyping. What does it feel like to have the wrong sex hormones in your body? Dude wants to feel dysphoria. Okay. I was a little taken aback by how quickly the emotional effects started to set in. After a week or so, I started to feel much more emotionally open, even uncontrollably tearing up at a few things that I normally would never react to. Okay. Uh, how quickly? After a week? Okay. I'll get into that in a second, but okay. After a week. 2 milligrams after a week. Okay. Uh, Feelings of anger and anxiety also diminished by like 90%. But I also felt like I had lower energy. There was also a subtle sort of vibe shift in my consciousness in general. Yeah, I can only describe it as feeling like a kid again. Okay. Makes sense, I guess, with there being way less testosterone in my body, like how it was as a kid. Oh, I gotta read some of these comments. Eventually, though, I had to pull the plug on the experiment after about 2 weeks. TMI, but my went completely dead. Okay. And my libido was pretty much non existent. That is a perk for some people, which kind of scared me. Also, my had become noticeable. Yep. After 2 weeks? Okay. That's a little too sexual. Oh, you need to. You can tag your stuff explicit on here. Okay, it's been almost 3 years now, and I've been decided to revisit the experience. And I'm now day three of and 4 milligrams E. Maybe the potency declined, so I upped the dose. If it's been 3 years, the potency did not decline. I think the shift in worldview HRT gave me was pretty cool, to be honest. Viewed in a similar way to shrooms or some other psychedelic. It's just nice to shake your brain up, chemistry up every once in a while. Holy shit. Am I stupid for doing this? I think it might become a once a year or twice a year thing where I just chill out and take a HRT for a couple weeks. Are there any serious long term effects I should be worried about doing it this way? Yes! 100%. Holy shit. One. Okay. So starting off at 50 milligrams uh, of a testosterone blocker can be okay, but I'm trying to think. I think I started off on none and then got a 50 and then got 50 twice a day. But 4 milligrams E is, especially starting out, if I remember correctly, is a little high, which could explain, but only 2 milligrams. See, okay, so after a week or so, I started to feel much more emotionally open, even uncontrollably tearing up at a few things. Okay, so like the hormones influx, like fluctuating, can like do the intensity of emotions of where like you'll cry at things you would never react to. Yes. Feelings of anger and anxiety also diminish by like 90%. So it will make you less angry. That's honestly less of the E and more of the testosterone blocker. But if your anxiety is going away, that's odd. That tells me some things. um, because I've had really bad anxiety for a long time. And it has done nothing for my anxiety other than somewhat increase it. Um, but also the fact that all of that's happening after a week is like 90% after a week. Because it took 3 months before my testosterone was below cis levels. And it took longer for my E to get up to cis levels. So, like, all the effects and the libido and the all that stuff, the body changes, that does happen, but not 2 weeks. Not 2 weeks after starting it. So either A, this dude's hormonally off, uh, like maybe it's higher dosages than what he actually, especially if he ordered them online, the dosages could be wrong. Or B, dude could be intersex and already have a decent amount of E in his system. Um, Here's the thing. One, don't take any drugs. Prescription, medically necessary, recreational at all. until you know the side effects. Two, DIY HRT is not recommended for a lot of the reasons that this guy's doing it. Um, Holy shit. So, to answer, is it a dumb idea? Yes, 100% a dumb idea. Holy shit. Uh, because guess what? Your boobs are not gonna reverse. The libido and stuff will come back, but the bottom changes that can happen when you're on it longer will be permanent as well. As long, all right, let's read some of these comments. As long as you know the effects, what, as long as you know what the effects are and want them to do what you want, the big thing is breast growth. The breast tissue will not go away. If you don't want breast growth, look into serum or relax. Okay, this is getting way too detailed. Also, I find this unreasonably funny for whatever reason. I know a lot of my college friends who experimented who actually now realize they are trans and want to keep their boobs and don't mind that. Yep, this is too funny. Keep on experiment. Yeah, no, also like here we go. I don't think you're stupid, but you're fucking wild. I look, man. If HRT makes your brain feel, if HRT makes your brain feel good, I don't know. That's maybe something you should look at a little harder. Yeah, no. Here's my thing. If the dude is feeling better on HRT, but he also likes being off HRT, this is reading non-binary to me in terms of like stuff. Anyways, I've got a PhD with a specialty in biomedical communications. Let's talk about the stuff you notice. Feelings of anger and anxiety also diminished like 90%, but I also felt like I had lower energy. Believe it or not, that's because your estrogen was too low. Yeah, I forgot about the energy part. Yeah, I've actually gotten more energy uh, than I used to have with E. And that's coming from someone who still has to be in bed a long period of the day. In a nutshell, T and E affect every single part of the human body, bones to skin. Among their many effects is that they both have a huge role in cognition. Testosterone has a major effect of dopamine signaling, while the entire family of estrogens are neurotransmitters in their own right. That lethargy you noticed is what happens when you have neither testosterone nor estrogen at high enough levels for your brain to transmit it at the level slash rate it needs to. 2 milligrams a day is a very gentle dose. Okay, it's been I will say also I'm on patches, which is a completely different like dosage thing because I'm like at point 0.1 per 24 hours, whereas pills are of course going to be different. So I deeply doubt you would have gotten what your brain needed from it. Eventually, though, I had to pull the plug on the experiment after about 2 weeks because, yep, super common as you decide to continue experiment. It's actually super simple to keep regular. Okay, maybe this one was a little too sexual. We're gonna move off that one. We'll keep it in, but that was definitely a little. This is why my streams are rated mature. And why the on YouTube this is not for kids. All right. Speaking of, would I be the asshole if I asked my bridesmaid to drop out of my wedding since she is refusing not to bring weed to the wedding? Would I be the asshole for asking my friend to drop out of my wedding after asking her not to bring weed and she declined? Oh, she's refusing not to bring weed to the wedding. So okay, so the title missed a word. She's refusing to not bring weed. Oh no, no, I just misread it. Okay. I, 25 female, and my fiance, 26 male, are having our wedding in a little under a year and are super excited. He's the best man a girl could ask for. It If you haven't been through wedding planning, it's fucking hell, and the costs, I swear, just keep going up every single day. This is why we just went to the courthouse. We dropped close to half of our budget on our dream venue and are skimping on other things, including having a very small wedding. This venue is amazing, but it's very strict on certain things. Smoking is a plain no, which is fine. In addition, weed is outlined individually as a big no no. So, no edibles, no smoking, no dab pens, etc., which is fine by me. My fiance and I don't smoke. Since this is a small wedding, the bridal party is also pretty small. Most of the bridesmaids are stoners. My contract made me worried and have reached out to them about asking them to not bring any weed, including edibles. Every girl but one said, "Girl, you didn't even need to ask. I wouldn't even think to bring weed to your wedding. It's your day." The other girl, on the other hand, said she was going to bring an edible to take after the ceremony. I told her that it's specifically outlined in my contract no guests or anyone can have it, or they will stop the wedding and everyone has to leave immediately. In addition, for possession of weed, we will not get refunded for anything venue, food, vendors, etc., and will also lose the security deposit of $5,000. She told me she knew what she was doing, no one will know, and was going to hide it from me anyways. I still have time to talk to her again, but I'm really frustrated and anxious because I could literally lose thousands of dollars if she gets caught. The website will also specify to all of the guests no weed. My fiance and I are also planning on possibly having a dry wedding as we do not drink. Am I the asshole for wanting my bridesmaids to not bring weed and have one day sober? Would I be the asshole if I asked her to step down? I plan on having a big meeting with everyone and outlining the contract again, and if she gets mad, then I'm telling her to drop out. Notes to add, I'm not having a maid of honor, and she screamed at me when I told her. Okay, that's enough to drop this person out. I haven't finalized the bridesmaids' dresses, but she told me what colors and cuts she refuses to wear. Literally everything she hates is what I was wanting. Are you actually friends with this person? Each time I have mentioned anything I'm doing for my wedding, she stops me and then goes on and on about what she will do at her wedding. She's not engaged or close to being engaged. Weed is illegal in the state. Okay. Um, so it sounds like you have an entitled friend, uh, who, unless it's medically necessary and like they have to take weed once a day and it's just happens to be at that time, like unless that's the case, then yeah, no, they shouldn't be doing that, especially if you've asked and explained that this is a monetary thing. Um, but that on top of her yelling, apparent, supposedly yelling at you when you said you're not having a maid of honor, and being combative with dress colors and being dismissive of engaging with uh, your excitement for your wedding. No, just kick this person out. Honestly, I asked my bridesmaid, so they think they might be the asshole. Because I asked my bridesmaid not to bring weed to my wedding, and she said no. I'm going to ask her again. If she refuses, would I be the asshole for asking her? I might be the asshole because I want to cut her from the wedding. Not the asshole. Your wedding, your rules. While arguably sometimes bridges go a little too far. Oh, brides. While arguably sometimes brides go a little too far with the rules you demand is being demanded because you have a goddamn contract that says no weed, and it is illegal in your state, and you are well within your rights to try to avoid trouble during your wedding. Her reaction to your reasonable and very well justified request is raging assholery. Keep her as far away from your wedding as possible. I guess you could advise police will be searching the wedding party, and see if that scares her off. Alternatively, have all the wedding parties sign a contract accepting financial liability for any direct or indirect cost as a result of breaching the venue's rules. Uh, I don't know what this means. Um, but yeah, no, I feel like this is a pretty clear cut. One, cut her from your wedding, but two, it sounds like you guys aren't actually friends in her, at least in her eyes. It sounds so like you may want to cut a bit further than just the wedding, in my opinion. Am I the devil? I don't think they'll forgive you. Uh, this is 4 years ago, but okay. I cheated with my brother's girlfriend and married her 10 years ago. How do we reconcile? I cheated. Hold on. Okay. I cheated with my brother's girlfriend. So while your brother and this girl were dating, you okay, let's just this is long. When I was in my mid 20s, my younger brother Ezra, who was 19, went away to an out of state school. I had just finished my own stay at my university, so I went back home to find an apartment close to family. Ezra's girlfriend, Melanie, I really hope these are fake names, 19, also stayed behind to study at a local college. Her and I would hang out once in a while. I didn't realize it at first. I was playing with fire by doing this. Yeah, it is a bit odd if you didn't know her from before they started dating. Like, why would you be hanging out randomly with your brother's girlfriend? Uh, Melanie and I got closer. We would go to the movies, grab a bite, and we would hang out at family dinners. Ez couldn't be there, but my dad would extend invites to Melanie, who Ez dated all throughout high school. They planned to be married after school, so she was family. Okay. My dad also remarried, so we were trying to build new bonds with his new wife and her kids, one of which was close in age to Melanie. Okay. I guess things began to get messy with my dad's new wife when my dad's new wife began to comment that I looked better with Melanie. I had a stable job and was ready to start my life and settle down. Melanie was offended at first, but as we grew closer, she began to also make similar comments. Almost like when you and her were hanging out multiple times alone, you were basically going on dates. Okay. As would come down for summer or some weekends where they would still hang out and function like a couple. When he would leave, she would be with me. Things got physical one night after I reacted jealously at her and as snuggling up. It was the turning point that I had been waiting on. I know now I was wrong, and I'm not proud of any of this. My dad and his wife were at odds over our relationship. My dad was actually furious with me and demanded we stop. Fair. Melanie was disinvited from family dinners, and my dad reached out to my mom to inform her about us. My dad's wife had an opposite opinion. I have another sibling, six in total, all brothers. Jesus Christ. Aaron, who suspected something was off. Things came to a head when Aaron took Ez aside during a visit to let him know what he had learned from who knows where. Aaron has always had it out for me, or so I believe. A story for another day. Holy shit. Okay. OP is oh goodness. Okay. But what happened after set my whole life in motion in the direction it's been for the last decade. It's been just over 10 years since Ezra discovered what we had done and set the whole family on fire. He had to he had a go at our parents and my dad's wife for her involvement and their silence, and then he just left. It took a while, maybe a few months, eight, but he left, and I have yet to ever see him again. Good for him. Those 8 months, I was not a kind person. After Melanie was embarrassed and mistreated by Ez for cheating, I immediately took her in and we became official. Our family disapproved for a while, but eventually they came around. She fell pregnant, and I proposed. Honey, I have fallen pregnant. Uh, the only medicine that will help is a proposal. Her parents and my parents learned of this and agreed that it was for the best. It was best for the baby that we married, so they paid for everything. Okay, so there's probably also some religious undertones here, which is making this so much more delectable. It was a humble wedding, but my family pulled through for me and showed up. During this time, Aaron continued to lecture my parents about their involvement with our relationship and abandonment of Ezra. Fair. I understand that he was in pain and needed them. I did too. I was becoming a new father and husband. I was looking into buying my first home, starting my first big job, and planning a wedding. I didn't expect Ezra to suck it up, but they are my parents too. Unfortunately. My parents were preoccupied with us so much so that Ezra moved a few towns over and we didn't notice until a month or so. The whole family's rotten. We used to see him around town where he worked, but noticed we stopped seeing him. I reached out only to find his number was changed. Aaron was no help, just criticisms and warnings about Ezra's well being. No kind words from me, the brother that, like, showed how little the family cared for the other one. Melanie or our child, though. I lost two brothers in actuality. Okay, cool. Eventually, our wedding grew closer and the invitations were sent out. No response from Ez and Aaron, which I expected, so I asked my mom to verify with them. I understood if the answers were no. What we found was that they were completely gone. Aaron had a longtime girlfriend who RSVP no to our wedding and clammed up about where my brothers went off to. One aunt, the one who would often echo Aaron's comments and skipped out on my wedding, let us know that they were safe and that we needed to move on. So that was that. Sad to say, I haven't seen them in 10 years. My parents were obviously distraught and regretful. It put a huge damper on our. Yeah, they picked the wrong kid. It was a huge damper on our wedding and the birth of my child. We thought about combining their names as a middle name for my son, but ultimately decided no. Holy shit, the pettiness that secretly would have been if they had done that. Okay. They would likely never meet my kid, so no need to confuse them. I've never met a single McMillan in my family, and it was still chosen. My everyone in my family's middle names are family names, and I think only one relative alive that had one of those names we actually met. It doesn't matter. It's not necessarily for you. Anyways, um, uh, holy shit. However, watching my parents break down whenever family would get together took its toll. Anyone who knew where they were did not say. It remains a great cloud over our lives to this day. Holy shit, this is long. I thought we had moved on by the time Mel and I, oh no, had another kid. My parents seemed happy to be with me and my remaining brothers, and they saw that Mel and I were serious about our relationship, an ideal match. Soon enough, though, my mom decided to voice her regrets to me and Melanie personally. When she first found out about our relationship, she was staunchly against us, but came around when Mel fell pregnant. Now she remains that she made a mistake where she lost two sons. Her relationship with Mel has suffered greatly. My dad's family is much more welcoming to Mel. She's one of their own. My dad does miss his sons, but also loves his grandkids. He was content with this for a long time until my mom went ahead and located Aaron and Ezra. It hurt to feel that she would prefer to have held on to them and lose me and my sons in the process. Oh my god. Uh, she found that they were both married. Aaron to his longtime girlfriend, who eventually moved away years ago, and Ezra to an unknown woman. Both have a good amount of children, more than I have, in fact. That's not important, but my ego must let you know. My mother got some therapy and reached out to my brothers and has made contact with Ez. Aaron declined to reconcile, so she's been in contact with Ezra for a year, even going as far as taking my youngest brothers with her to spend Christmas with Ez and his family. I've seen pictures of his sons and daughters and his wife too. I thought to keep a lot of this from my dad, but I come from a gossipy family. Whoa, who would have guessed? So I did show him what I found on my mom's Facebook before they could. My dad was overcome again, as if the wound was freshly exposed again. Yeah, he felt he missed a lot and couldn't bear it. He looked at the images for a long time and eventually called my mom, and they spoke for hours. So I sit there with fractured relationships everywhere. But am I the problem? No, certainly not. My mom does not approve of me and my family. Mel and my mom do not speak. My dad is heartbroken. Ezra and Aaron took off and built a life with their own families. From pictures, it seems they are still close, and though Aaron does not speak to our mother, his wife and kids do. The rest of my siblings are young men just coming into their own. I love them so much, but I can't relate to them like I relate to my brothers who are closer in age. It's been years since I've had to deal with what my actions have caused. My wife is beginning to get insecure about my feelings towards her. She wonders if I regret her and the kids. I want to fix this. I failed to fix it before, but I need to now. I don't know how to repair it though. How can I make amends for a marriage and life I don't regret? TLDR, I cheated with and married my brother's girlfriend. My two brothers rebelled. That's not exactly what happened, and became estranged after we announced our engagement. It's been 10 years, and my parents were still hurt that they cut off the whole family. My mom has made contact with one brother, and my dad is now aware of how much he's missed out on. I would like to fix this. So before we check the comments, holy shit. Okay, this guy seems to be like, okay, yeah, maybe I was shitty, but it all worked out. And it's like, this is a perfect example of it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Yes, I mean, it can be about both. It really depends. But, like, here's the thing. One, if your wife's insecure about it, it probably means that, like, she wasn't all comfortable with it at the time either, which feels like, even though it's never mentioned in here, probably because of OP, things may have been a bit more pressured than they're letting on. Two, you don't seem regretful or remorseful of cheating with your now wife. You seem regretful of getting, I don't know, not even exposed. Like, it was in front of everyone. But like, the reasonable reactions from family being like, how the fuck can you do this to your brother? Like, here's the thing, you absolutely could have ended up with this person, but it needed to be a conversation of like, hey, I'm feeling feelings for your girlfriend, you're never around, and like, but I also don't want to make a move while this is happening, so like, can you guys talk? And then if they break up and he's like, you don't date her and you still date her, yeah, it's still a little shitty, but it's less shitty than literally cheating with her. Um, and then not realizing, like, oh, they're just rebelling and all this. Their entire fucking family saw you cheating with the girlfriend and were like, oh, they're gonna have cute children one day, and not like did not care about your brothers at all. It seems, and now they're realizing the fucking mistakes that they made in the past. Anyways, the audacity of some of your thoughts slash word choices, I can't. I didn't expect Ezra to suck it up, but they are my parents too. After Melanie was embarrassed and mistreated by Ez for cheating, I immediately took her in. Aaron was no help, just criticisms and warnings about Ezra's well-being. No kind words for me, Melanie, or our child, though. Oh, she was embarrassed by him? No, she embarrassed her own goddamn self. You want everyone to be happy for you after what you did, and they're not? Boo-hoo. How can I make amends for a marriage in life I don't regret? I really hope this is a troll post. Yeah, no, you don't even have to regret the marriage. It is and like, honestly, glad you don't regret having kids and all that. But also, like, ugh, I think it is someone similar had posted on Am I the Asshole, but a different user. This as we discovered what we had. Oh, no, you deserve it. So, does this person have any other? Oh God, they commented on that post. That's their only post, but then they did comment in a different thing. Let's see some of OP's comments here. Holy shit, there's a lot of them. Okay, there's two. There's too many. There's too many. I give up. This is. I don't think they'll forgive you. If I was the dad, I'd be wary of the home wrecking stepmom as well. I believe is what I said last time this post popped up. 100%. What happens if she finds someone she thinks she looks better with? She should be wary of him as well. Of course, the stepmom thought nothing was wrong with the situation and is pro Mel. They are both home wrecking. Ooh, hey, we don't use that language in this house. Um. All right, moving on. Hey, Mutsy, how you doing, Mutsy? You done growling at the kitten? Okay. Female to male deodorant recommendations. Hey, y'all. I wasn't sure what to title this post, but I hope it's self explanatory. I've been on testosterone for 2.5 years, and I'm absolutely struggling right now to find a good deodorant or even just how to not smell. When I first started tea, I noticed the body odor change, but my deodorant handled it with ease. Now I cannot find a deodorant or a way to not be stanky. I noticed it today the worst. I went to a baseball game, probably 90 degrees and sunny. I put on Old Spice, even though it burns me, because I know it will last. Was outside for all 3.5 hours, all of 3.5 hours, and I get on the train home and I stank. Is there a difference between gel and powder? Yes. Does one work better than the other? I definitely prefer gel. I hate how powder gets stuck in armpit hair. Lol. Hoping some of y'all have recommendations because I don't want to be stanky anymore. Deodorants I've tried that don't work. Old Spice burns you, which means there's something in there you're allergic to. Degree is usually pretty good. Mando works, but isn't gel. Powder was working, stopped working. Blue North got it from TJ Maxx, worked and stopped working. Dove, Axe. Okay, so before we get into the comments, it sounds like one, there's an ingredient inside some deodorants that may be causing some issues. Two, if you're looking for deodorant and not antiperspirant, that's the main problem. And three, was working, stopped working, worked and stopped working, works but isn't gel. Something you need to know about antiperspirants. Uh, all of them will work for like 2 to 3 months, and then will stop working. You're supposed to change brands. You're supposed to have like a rotation of 3 brands that you rotate with, which is why I usually just find what's ever on sale and then pick up that, and that's my deodorant for the month. Um, but if you, I've known a few people that were like this, and what ended up working for them, it was some sports people back in the day. Um, and so antiperspirant didn't work in gel or in um, what did they call it? Powder? I guess it's it's, I wouldn't call it's stick, gel or stick. Um, but neither of those would work for them. And so what ended up working for them really well was aerosol, or violence. United States based device. I use Gillette Clinical Protection Antiperspirant. It's a gel, definitely the best I've ever used. Find an antiperspirant with a lot of specific stuff. Both before and after transition, I've used Arm & Hammer Ultramax unscented. It's gender neutral. It works really well for me, and it doesn't leave residue on my clothes. Also, another good reason to use aerosol. Back when I had hard armpit hair, I don't remember it causing any sort of problems there. It's a solid. Right guard works for me. And then that. I might comment. There was a episode of Good Mythical Morning like 10 years ago. Let me see if I can find it actually. GMM deodorant. Let's see. Weird deodorants experiment. I don't think that might be it. It might be the I Wear Women's deodorant. It's one of these. Also, how the shit do they have? They have like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven videos about deodorant. Look, when you're doing a show for like over 10 years, but I'm gonna keep that post up because I'm gonna actually give some advice. If I can find the video I'm thinking of, I can try to send that to them for some um, advice on deodorant. And also, yeah, no, for anyone watching, one, always look for antiperspirant, not deodorant. The only reason you should be using deodorant over antiperspirant is if you actually have issues sweating. So if you do not sweat, and like you have to intake a lot of salt and stuff, that's when you should be using deodorant. Otherwise, antiperspirant, antiperspirant, antiperspirant. Um, Stick is good for general stuff. Gel is, in my experience, stick is good and doesn't make you feel as gross, but you can. It says 24-hour protection. It's really more like 8 at most. Gel can last longer, but feels grosser. Um, but it does work a bit better in most situations. Aerosol seems to be the best in between of easy to apply, um, doesn't feel gross, doesn't stain or anything like that, and it's effective for like at least 12 hours. So, yeah, that's my advice. Let's keep going. How to be a safe parent for my not quite out yet teen. TLDR, I inadvertently found out my daughter is queer. How do I help my understandably anxious daughter feel more comfortable coming out to me and her mom, or reduce her worry until she's at the point of being comfortable? Long version, my daughter is 12, turns 13 within the next month. Part of our family's agreement is that I, dad, 42 male, thank you for the clarification, manage her tech for updates, and that there are some limits on amount of time she spends online. In exchange, she gets pretty much free reign on what she visits, reads, watches online. Uh, I feel like that should be reversed. Maybe I'm crazy, but like, I mean, time restraints is good. Time restraints is good, while not always effective. But free reign, especially 12 and 13, like I had the same thing, and my dad, who's been working in tech since before I was born, um, found ways to block websites so that I would not go to them. Well, or any of us, I guess, because it was family computers. And I found ways to bypass those, which was really fun. But yeah, look, I'm fucked up. Partially because of some stuff I found when I shouldn't have found it. So, free reign, not great. We hope and expect and have seen that she is mostly transparent with us about stuff she might encounter online. General online kid safety stuff, like not friending people she doesn't know IRL. That was a rule in my house too and did not end up happening. I just didn't tell my parents about my online friends. That comment sections are often vile and best to be avoided, true, and that there are some bad actors online, and please tell us if you ever feel uncomfortable because of what someone has said, slash what you read, slash what you see. In short, we're pretty transparent that she can talk to us about her online browsing and that we can monitor her use of tech. She's been on her laptop a bunch for the past week or two, though she claims it's not that much, so I told her I would be checking her usage. All of that is to say, yes, I was snooping, but not for the sake of snooping and within the bounds of how we manage tech and internet usage in our family. Last night, I opened her laptop to check her usage slash history in Chrome, and yeah, it was a lot of hours on YouTube, which was a problem that we were going to have to talk about because she's supposed to be max 3 hours a day online during the summer. Ooh. It makes sense when you're in school, but in the summer, 3 hours is a short amount of time. Then I went to check her app usage and Control Tab surfaced an incognito window that had two tabs open. How do I come out to my homophobic mom? And how do I tell my parents that I'm pansexual? Shit. Not what I had expected. Not what I was looking for, and obviously something she didn't expect or want me to see. I outed my kid to me and never meant to unearth something that she clearly is trying to figure out her way through. Okay, honestly, good reaction. If your reaction was, how dare she have to look up and not. No, they're being reasonable of like, oh shit, fuck, I wasn't supposed to see this. And they're reasonably trying to figure this out on their own. Okay. Anyways, I'm kind of heartbroken as her dad. I love her unapologetically and unconditionally. And frankly, I've already had a strong inclination that she was LGBTQ for a pile of reasons. If she came out to me this afternoon, my response would be, I was pretty sure already. I love you. I always will love you. What kind of support do you need from me slash mom? And what do you want to eat for dinner? Uh, I hope that I hope that's generally a good response. Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Wrinkle that explains some of my daughter's concern. My wife and I were both raised in conservative evangelical Christian homes slash families. Yeah, both sets of my grandparents are definitely in the anti-LGBT camp, sadly. And while I'm pretty solidly working to be an affirming ally to my LGBTQ friends and family, I know it's a bigger mental hurdle for my wife. Yeah, hey, you know what? Be glad you didn't see How to Come Out to My Homophobic Dad. She is 100% going to love our daughter no matter what. You hope that. And simultaneously has these worries about how do I know whether it's right, wrong, Christian, etc. That gives her more than a little bit of cognitive dissonance, but not an iota of a chance that either of us would reject our daughter or any of the worst stories that I hear that make me sad for every kid out there. Yeah. Or love her any less or respect her any less. And I'm already thinking through how do we tell grandmas, grandpas to back the fuck off of anything approximating judgment. This person is actually writing really well. I'm just sucking at speaking today for when the time comes. I can only imagine my daughter is feeling isolated, frustrated trying to figure out her identity socially and sexually without certainty about her family's support, and terrified from all the what if questions that come with the process of coming out. And that breaks my heart. I want our family to be her safe place, even as I realize that her age means that she's going to create her identity as much or more from her social circle as she will from her family. Okay. So my question, the advice I'm seeking, I want her to know that she can come out to us without fear. without alienation, without worry, safely, with a loving response. Is there any way to do this without telling her I already know? Or put another way, what would have helped you feel more confident coming out to your parents if you were uncertain about their response? Whew. So this was actually a big fear of mine growing up. Um, cuz I didn't figure a lot of my shit out, but I was uh trying to find stuff out. Unfortunately, I was trying to find stuff out in like 2003, 2004 on the internet, which was not the best time. um Hell, actually as far back as 2002. Yeah, I think 7 was like when a lot of this stuff started to kick off for me. I had felt and recognized a lot of things before then, but that's when a lot of the stuff happened. Um and I had this about religion too. My parents and at least one of my siblings hyper religious at the time. Um and so like me not believing in religion, like I can very much relate to not being able to be yourself around people because of around your family because of different religious views. Um Ironically, the thing that made me feel comfortable around certain queer topics with my parents, it was never trans stuff. Because when that kind of stuff did come up in the family, my mom at the time, my dad would make jokes, and my mom would say it's just unnatural. I just don't understand it. This is also this is the past. She has grown, and she has not only been a great advocate, but has also like worked for organizations in the past few years to help financially with trans people and organizations. But this is the past. They were always that way about that stuff. But when it came to sexuality stuff, one, I grew up Will and Grace era, so we were seeing the tail end of um, the rights movement succeeding. Um, and unfortunately, that still took way longer than it should have. Um, like I think I was 19 when God, it's been 10 years. I was 19 when gay marriage was finally legalized. But it, in my eyes, was still very normal from a young age. And my parents' conversations around that growing up were more like they were clearly struggling because they didn't feel like they should be judgmental for people like that, but religion. Um, so like seeing them tangle with that made me more be like, oh, they're probably accepting with that. So like when I was uh 18, so 18 might have been 17. It might have been 17 and then 18 because it was like a year back to back. It was either that or 18 to 19. Um my parents I had not been in a relationship ever, and my parents were like, "Are you gay?" And I had to be like, the first time I was just like, "No, not. I'm just not looking right now. I'm in school, focusing on school." Which confused the hell out of them, and I feel like that is one of the signs of either OCD or autism. Anyways, the second time, I was like, one, you asked me last year, and that has not changed. And two, if I was, I would tell you guys. And they were like taken aback and surprised of like, you would, oh? And I'm like, yeah. When it came to, it's weird. When it came to stuff about myself, for myself, like for a long period of time, if I had the language, I would have said I identified as bigendered as a kid. Definitely genderqueer as a teen, but I didn't know the terminology, uh, and I was afraid of the terminology. I was afraid of figuring that shit out because I felt like I must have been wrong. Um, anyways, when it came to that stuff and those struggles, like I did not discuss any of that with my parents at all. But like when it came to stuff that could affect others, like a potential um, relationship or anything like that, then I would be like, yeah, this is this and this is that, you know. Um. So, anyways, uh, back to the story, how to make your daughter feel comfortable coming out pansexual. Um, again, just having a discussion about it. Now, I would say it's gonna be weird if like one day she's gonna know. If one day you're looking at her laptop and you let her know you're going to check that, and then like 2 days later, so one of my coworkers at work came out as one of these pansexuals, and well, I had to go over to him and thank him for coming out and asked him if he's got a partner right now, and he said he's dating this guy named Greg, and I was like, great. And I saw a picture of him, and I was wondering if we could go on a double date with him, honey. Just doing this around the daughter, and the daughter would be like, "Oh, you read my you. I forgot to close those tabs." Um, but no, that's it. Just have a discussion, honestly, or you can be honest with your daughter, like, "Hey, look, this is gonna be terrifying for a second. I just want you to know I when I was looking through your stuff, like we agreed I was going to do if you were overusing your laptop. Um I did find you searching about pansexuality. And I want to just say at the top here that that's awesome. Uh and that if you need anything, I'm here. I'm not going to try to change you or anything like that. I'm here for support. That's honestly like that would be terrifying to me, but like that's probably in the long run the best thing you could do. Okay. The first conversation you need to have is with your wife. There are no half measures when accepting queerness. She's either all in or entirely out. That's not exactly it. There's some learning curves. Where is this? This is in LGBT. Okay. There's some learning curves. Not everything is all or nothing. Next, you don't have to bring anything up to your daughter at all. Just lead by example. Read articles and studies about queer youth. Educate yourself like you're doing here, so you're off to a good start. Your daughter is at an age where crushes will more frequently happen and pseudo romances may unfold. Have a general conversation with her about how to stay safe, respectful, and maintain relationship boundaries in those encounters. This can happen regardless of gender. Also, have a conversation about this is a lot more information of parenting than just the pansexual stuff. Check in with her and do your best to be an ally. I'm bi-pan, and my parents were strictly religious conservatives. Their homophobia kept me in the closet, even to myself, for decades. Oh yeah, that's an important part too. Even to myself, because if you start to suspect any queerness when you're in that kind of environment, um, you shut that stuff down. You shut that stuff down for your own safety. Anyways, take the pressure off of yourself and listen without judgment when your child speaks. If you encounter homophobia from family members or in public, have conversations with your daughter about why it's wrong and that it shouldn't be acceptable. This will let her know that you're safe and she will come out when she's ready. A hetero-presenting marriage and only out to one brother. Thank you for being a better father than mine. Thank you. Yes, I'm also freaked out about outing my daughter to my wife. Yeah, wife also certainly needs a bit of time to get her head around the notion so she doesn't react poorly in the moment, but I also feel like it's not my thing to share. I'm sifting through the materials on PFLAG to try and get better at an ally. Low key support is going to ramp up for sure. Have a general conversation with them about the. This is an all the time, often conversation. It comes with the territory at this age. Yeah, that I still feel like that's weird to have. The way I would have phrased that is if you have conversation, since she's likely around the age where you're going to be having these conversations, make sure she understands that it's regardless of gender. Is like the extent that that should have gone. If you encounter yada yada, this feels simple and is still really helpful to hear. Absolutely. Thanks for being a better father than mine. I'm sorry for your experience. I don't know that I'm a better father. I'm just trying to be a supportive one. I have plenty of other failings in my parenting, I promise you. My biggest hope is that the ways I screw up my kids are different than and smaller than the ways my parents screwed me up. Excellent. It sounds like communication between you and your child is productive and nurturing. I just want to add there's absolutely no need to go over the top with your allyship so that you avoid encroaching upon parenting. Yeah, homophobia and patriarchal standards on gender roles in relationships slash dating are constantly thrust upon us from all angles. Call it out when you see it, and I really think the rest falls into place. PFLAG has support resources for families, groups. Do you have queer friends you can reach out to? Been exploring PFLAG, great resource. Honestly, is. Yes, I have queer friends. Thank goodness for being in a large city with meaningful queer support. None that are super close, either geographically or relationally, though. Good friend would be perfect to help support. He's half a continent away and dealing with two toddler sons with his husband. Two other friends are closeted slash semi-closeted, and I don't even know how to broach the topic with them in a way that's appropriate for my relationship, which is through an organization where it might be harmful to them, their reputation if they were outed, so I'm not going to ask in that context. How many more comments we got? Here, this will be the last set. She already doesn't trust you based on the monitoring of devices. She also can tell that your wife is less accepting than you are. If you all visit the anti LGBTQ grandparents anytime soon and they say something not friendly on the drive home, explain to your daughter that you both do not agree with her grandparents. It might be best if your wife is the one to start the convo based on your daughter's search history. Thank you. We already have had a conversation about how the grandparents are anti-LGBTQ plus, and that we don't share that view. She is part of her school's GSA club and said that to her grandma, who asked, "What's that?" She cheerfully described it as the Gender and Sexuality Alliance, which is how her school names it. That is a common, yeah. I also sometimes it's SAG. I think. Well, no, not SAG. Is it SAG? SAG something else. Anyways, and talked about how accepting the group of friends she has there. Cue awkward pearl clutching from grandma, and I replied both in moment to support daughter and later checked in with her to have heard that I thought she was strong and how approaching a brand direct. Yes, wife probably needs to make more signals on this front too. Edit, I skipped the first paragraph, which also deserves a response. Agree that she can probably tell that the wife is less accepting. That's definitely something I'm trying to figure out how to navigate too. And already doesn't trust based on all the monitoring. I hear that sentiment, and I don't think either of us mistrusts each other in particular for this. At the risk of coming across as defensive, it's just part of how we safeguard our kids' online experience. I want the internet to be a resource and a universe to explore, but there's also a lot of danger out there, particularly to a pubescent kid trying to navigate social comparison and self esteem. It's not about being restrictive, I hope, but about making sure I'm doing the best as a parent to use the internet in a constructive and beneficial way while limiting exposure to risky stuffs. You're taking all the good steps, then it's processing everyone involved. Yeah, no, I feel like the dad's doing like everyone's going to be a bit different about technology monitoring and you know permissions. But that aside, even I feel like the dad's doing what he should be doing, researching, and already knows he's going to be accepting, and just I don't know. Hey, this is when you can bring up the question: would you rather have a queer son or a gay son or a thought daughter to your wife? And if your wife's like, well, they both need Jesus, no, then maybe some harsher discussions are needed. Anyways, 15 hours ago from relationship advice. I 34 female played a stupid loyalty test game with my husband, who's 38, of 6 years, and reacted badly when it didn't go to plan. He's now living a friend and asks for space. How do I make up for this? Living with a friend. Okay. We've been together 10 years and have a great relationship up until this point. No jealousy issues or anything like that. I go out every Saturday with my friend and get dressed up, and I have quite a following on social media. Nothing special, but each one is in five figures. So I post a pic every Saturday of my outfits plus pics in the week. This is to set the background that my husband doesn't mind me sharing pictures and will often act as my photographer. He's got social media but very rarely uses it, but always likes my posts. Just checked, and the last time he did anything on Instagram other than like my posts was 3 years ago. He posted from a football game. I've seen these videos before of women filming themselves while they confess to their partners that they have started an OnlyFans to film their reaction. My friends started doing it to their partners and posting the videos in our group chats, and I thought I'd do the same. I walked into the room and said, "Hey, spouse, I've got something to tell you. I started an OnlyFans account about a month ago, and I'm going to start promoting it on my socials." He looked up with a smile and said, "Wow, that's brave of you. Makes sense, though, with all the followers you've got. Bet you'll make a fortune and can treat yourself to stuff." I don't know why, but the fact he wasn't angry or jealous got me really mad. Okay. I started crying and asking why he doesn't care that people will see me naked and all his friends and family will know. He just said there's no shame in it and it's not illegal, so why would he care? He then said, "I've posted topless pics on Twitter in the past, so why does it matter?" Okay, I said that was years ago before we even got together, and he's supposed to care. Okay, that is. I was like, okay, if this is something you've actually already somewhat done, but then it's like, oh, okay, it was before the relationship. That does recontextualize it a little bit. I feel so stupid writing this now, but I stormed out of the house crying and went to my friends and told her what happened, and she basically called me a moron and told me to grow up. I spoke to my sister, who said pretty much the same, and I was now starting to realize what I'd done wrong. I went home and he was packing his bags and said I'd set him up to fail, and whatever he answered would be wrong, as I'd either accuse him of not caring or being controlling. He said, "I told you when we got together I wouldn't tolerate stupid mind games." This was after I got out of his car and stormed off, expecting him to chase me, but he didn't. He just drove off. Okay. He said he's going to stay at a friend's, and I was begging and pleading with him not to go. It's been 5 days now, and he hasn't responded to a single message. And when I went round, his friend refused to open the door. Do I keep messaging him my thoughts and feelings? How do I convince him I know I was wrong and I won't have it again? Is this doomed? TLDR, I pretended I had an OnlyFans to my husband. He didn't care. I acted like he didn't love me. He stormed out. Here's the thing. Acted like. You should not be, other than for like jokes, which this is not a joke. This is a poorly done prank. Um, you should not be acting in your relationships. You should be yourself. Like you can be, I guess you can act in certain ways in social situations that your spouse is also in, but like especially at home, like you should you should be yourself. Oh God. But if it sounds like this was not the only time, like also I left, where is it? Uh this was after I got out of his car and stormed off expecting him to chase me, but he didn't. He just drove off. Like, yeah, no. I won't tolerate stupid mind games is pretty straightforward. Like, treat your partner like a person and not a child. Oh God. Oh my God, she sounds exhausting. She's too old for this. Yeah. Oh yeah. Fuck. She's 34. Yeah. Jesus, I was thinking 10 years. They must have gotten together in middle school because no way she's more than early 20s. She's 34. I'm exhausted just from the story and want to divorce her. TikTokification of the world. Yeah, honestly. I laughed so hard at the part where you said you want to divorce her after reading the story. Makes me so happy. Another sad tale of a person choosing social media clout over their own family, sacrificing a real person who really loves them in favor for some awful prank for fake validation. Makes me so sad. What's even crazier is she even had the ideal guy for this kind of social media junkie. He was cool with her getting all the attention and took the photos and everything, and she messed that up. Uh, oh God, 82 dislikes. Let's see this. And this is part of the reason why people, specifically men, are afraid to date anymore. I can't blame them. I am a woman, but I will say that dating is not even how I remembered it 20 years ago. We didn't play these stupid childish mind games. Yes, you fucking did. There are entire fucking Old English fucking books written about this type of shit. At least not as much. I was younger than her when I was in a long-term relationship and still didn't pull this shit. She said he warned her when they got together that he wouldn't tolerate these stupid mind games. Well, play stupid mind games, win stupid prizes. Congrats, you just did that. Edit. As per the comment below this, I can tell that the only people downvoting this are ones who are mad that I'm telling the truth. They are exactly the people that I'm talking about. People don't like being called out because they don't like hearing the truth about themselves. That sounds like a personal problem. I'm not going to censor myself because they don't want to hear it. Maybe stop being part of the problem. Dating is far different from the 2024 than it was in 2004 for sure, for men and for women. Certainly, there are plenty of men pulling childish and harmful pranks online for clout. One could agree that, but that's not what I'm talking about. See, this is the problem. Somebody says one thing and somebody else tries to take it and spin it into something it isn't. That's not what I was talking about at all. Yes, this is the problem is obviously women and nothing else. Oh shit, no, I didn't want to go to their fucking. That's not what I said at all. What I was saying was specifically men are afraid to date anymore. That's not what I said at all. What I said was that dating is not like it was 20 years ago, and women like her are the reason why men are afraid to date. I did. Oh my God. I didn't say anything about women in general. Then again, you are though. You're saying that women like that type, similar to OP, are why all men are afraid to date, which means that you're insinuating that the majority of women are that way. Then again, it's like you came in on the wrong end of a conversation, so I don't blame you for misreading what I was saying. I'm not saying women in general are the problem. I'm saying women who act the way she does are the problem. And you edited your post to get in some light martyrdom because people had the audacity to not agree with you 100%. But I'm glad that insecure women who like posting on social media too much is the only acceptable reason that dating is fucked. Are there any other factors? None that you accept. Uh, pick me, pick me. They're active in the men's rights sub. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. I want to go to the original post though. Oh, it was removed. But wait, are some of the comments okay? He was calm and pretty supportive of you up until your reaction and subsequent tantrum. A joke is only funny if everyone's laughing. Based on his reaction, it doesn't sound like this is the first time you put his feelings at play for your own entertainment. You sound incredibly immature and self-centered. Even the fact you mentioned your social following just makes it sound like all you care about is yourself and putting your relationship on display to an extent. Hate to say it, but you played a stupid game, won a stupid prize. I agree with the other commenter here. You need to prioritize therapy for yourself and work out whatever issues or past traumas you have that have led you to become so self-absorbed and dependent on the validation of others through social media, your friends, groups, etc. Apologize to your husband, try to make amends, and pray that he forgives you for this. Yes, mention her mention of her following gave me the yuck. He's that guy who can't tolerate it, and who can tolerate it, and he's naturally the guy who wouldn't care about an OnlyFans. Uh, okay. Let's see. We got 4 more to go. I think 10 is a good number for these. Anyways, how do you think Biden dropping out and endorsing Kamala Harris affects us as a community? Policies, chances of winning, whatever you think this might impact. I'd love to know how our politically savvy community members think. This is on specifically Ask Transgender, so this is asking how Kamala, being the new frontrunner for the Democratic Party here in the United States, affects the community. To which I will say, so it's positive. For one, let's say Biden stayed in the race and somehow won. Congratulations, we don't have Project 2025 to an extent. So it's not illegal for trans people to be on HRT. And we're not having a influx of people fleeing the country for a federal queer ban. But Biden has still done anti-trans laws when it comes to some medical care and some was it job related? Also, why is scroll lock on? There's been some not great stuff with Biden. Kamala Harris has been a vocal supporter of the queer community in all aspects, has worked with some trans legislators and senators in the past, being hyper supportive. I believe has run with pro LGBTQIA plus policies in the past, and so the issues that I have seen have been she's harsher on crime, which including petty crime and stuff that technically probably shouldn't be illegal, like certain drug charges. And she's very pro cop, which is not good. To be fair, in my opinion, as a queer person. However, So is Biden. So is Trump. So when it comes to those similarities, that becomes a non-issue to me, and it's the differences that are important. And the differences here between the three of them is Trump would outright try to make a Christian authoritarian nation. Biden would try to keep things as they are now while still caving to some Republicans to ban certain queer related stuff just to pass everyday American things. And Kamala would hopefully fight tooth and nail. Now, the other thing is, uh, Biden wasn't going to win, but there is no way Biden was going to win. It was a bad choice, and now it's a bad and moderately good choice. Um, so I mean, I I feel like a lot of Dems and left leaning people were like demoralized by the race, and that this change has reinvigorated that. Uh, my mom, who has not voted in a single election, and is in her 60s now, it says her only regret was not voting for Clinton in 2016 because she wants a woman to be president. And she has said if she was earlier in the year, she was disappointed that Kamala wasn't the nominee because she would vote for that. And now she is. So I'm hoping my mom sticks to her word and votes, though she's moving, so she may not be able to, which is kind of funny to me. But anyways, yeah, no, I'm hopeful. I'm actually hopeful. I cried yesterday when I got the news because there's actually fucking hope. Like, I'm still going to plan for the worst, but it's not planning for the worst without being like a 75% outcome of happening. It's now like, I genuinely don't think we're going to have Trump again. And I'm not saying that that means don't go and like we're not going to have Trump again as long as we all put the effort in. I'm feeling hopeful because I feel like we're all going to put the effort in. Okay, let's see some comments. I think voters were not really responding well to Biden's appear like you are actively dying policy, and voters will be more likely to respond to Harris's ability to not be an active reminder of an exponential decline at the end of our time. The main thing to consider here is that she would be better than Joe Manchin, who recently voted to deny trans veterans their health care benefits on something that runs the risk of actually becoming law. He is on the record as being our enemy, so if you see any chatter about him making a run for the position, keep that in mind. Edit updated for consistent naming. I don't think Manchin can run because I believe he said he was swapping parties after his term. Uh, can we refer to female leaders and candidates by their last name as well, please, especially as OP already did so? Um, I guess. I mean, I've. Is it a respect thing? I usually do what people like, what the politician has actively like put out there. Uh, I thought that typically they do the full name, but okay, Harris. All right. Uh, sorry, my mistake with that. I remember how that was in 2016 too. To be fair, in 2016, Clinton would have been somewhat confusing because of Bill. Yeah, I've seen some people start popping up and insisting on calling her Harris because of a supposed men get their last names, women get their first names respect thing, but I'm not currently convinced there's a pattern on that. There's usually context to which name ends up getting used, like referring to Hillary as Clinton can very quickly get confusing for obvious reasons. There's also I don't even say Clinton for either of them. I say either Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton because of that. There's also a lot of powerful men, and if Michelle Obama ran, which I don't think will happen, but a lot of people speculated could, I would do the same thing in that case. Uh, Politicians or not that are more known for their first name for one reason or another, such as Mayor Pete. Oh, I thought they were gonna say. Oh, Mayor Pete might be Pete Buttigieg. Okay. Bernie is definitely, yeah. No one calls Bernie Sanders Sanders. And Beto O'Rourke. There's also women who are often referred to as last names such as Pelosi, Boebert, and Klobuchar. Many others of both genders are most commonly referred to by full names, such as Ted Cruz, Mitt Romney, and Nikki Haley. And that's where I would say, I mean, not in this group of people, but yeah, I've never heard her called just Kamala, and I've never. I'm starting to see Harris a bit more, but it's Kamala Harris is what I've always seen interactions with. Um, at that level, names have less to do with respect and more to do with branding. Exactly. What makes your name stand out to be more memorable so people vote for the right person at the ballot box. I also didn't notice it until someone pointed it out. For what it's worth, Clinton and Harris both have first names more distinct than their last names, which isn't true for for people like Obama/Trump. I was curious about statistics on this. Found this article, which was helpful if somewhat shallow. I remember a lot of people referring to Mitt Romney as just Mitt or Mittens, and there was also Dubia. I won't judge anyone who uses her name respectfully, whether they choose to refer to her first name or last. I have absolutely zero respect for people who intentionally butcher her first name in a racist manner, like the people who say Barack Hussein Obama. Here's the thing. I always got pissed off about people doing that too, because like the reason people are assholes like that is because of Saddam Hussein, and they're trying to pull the fucking they're trying to say, oh, they have the same name. It's like, no, it's a common name for uh that was given to him for reasons. Um, and it just so happened that a incredibly bad person also had the same name. Do you know how many bad people have had the name frickin' Donald? I don't, but there's probably quite a few. Just did a scan on what news sites headlines looks like. Mostly if Joe Biden, then follow with Kamala Harris. But what was odd is Google's search showing BBC titles as Biden has backed Kamala Harris for president. What happens next in the U.S.? But the BBC site shows Biden has backed Harris. What happens? Not sure if change after the matter or Google not pick it up. There's something that drove me crazy in 2016, less so in the primary because we were also calling Bernie Sanders Bernie. But it really bothered me in general. Bernie is his first name, not his last. Yeah, no, they just forgot the comma. Bernie Sanders Bernie. Uh, yes, that's what she said. They edited their post. Originally said people called Bernie by Sanders. Serving in military gives healthcare benefits, and he's trying to take that away from trans veterans. Don't know a lot about the military. Yeah, one, also, just want to say, Trump did that shit. We reversed that shit when Biden got in office. Yes, people who are in the military for a certain amount of time, don't know how long, sorry, are get a pension and healthcare through the VA. The thing OP was talking, which the VA is shit. Anyways, the thing OP was talking about is trying to make it so that the VA doesn't cover trans healthcare. They already don't cover normal people's healthcare a lot of the time. And this is why I didn't go to the VA for any of my HRT. Didn't even mention it to them, as I know it would be me targeting myself for the next Republican who fucks with the VA. She also put. Ooh, hold on. What's this? She also put trans women in men's prisons. Her track record isn't spotless, but at least she's not just another white man. People can change with time too. She seems more likely to take positive self growth than Manchin. I see her as much more likely to champion trans causes now that she was a prosecutor. I would prefer to see her address her past decisions and recognize them as mistakes she is actively working towards correcting, but I think anything she does or advocates is light years ahead of what Republicans are planning. I don't see any possibility of her admitting to any wrongdoing, doing regarding those things. Certainly not during the election for the next 4 to 5 years if elect, or the next 4 to 5 years if elected. Yeah, maybe as a lame duck, I hate to say it, but I don't think we should be a priority talking point when so much of our national house is on fire. Um, no, when our existence is in threat of being illegalized, we should probably talk about that. Personally, while not a trans person myself, I am concerned by how that issue is being used as talking points when taking it off the table entirely doesn't feel right to me. Frankly, if the Republicans want to make something a fight, I feel the right tactic is to meet them specifically on that fight while simultaneously throwing other things at them that they have to respond to. Essentially, steal the momentum and initiative of the argument. I further wish to be it could be recontextualized by the Democrats as a demonstration of how the Republicans have no problem with hurting people for cheap political points and how quick they are to demonize others at the drop of a hat. But I don't see them doing that. Again, however, I'm not trans, uh, so that feels like me offering my 2 cents on something that I don't really have the right to comment on. I don't want to be anyone's fight. Most places had the capacity for name/sex adjustments on official records, even in Republican-controlled parts of the country. That's not exactly true. A lot of those changes came in the last 4 years. Sorry to say. Most of what we needed was just more medical research and insurance coverage. Now everything is all fucked up for so many of us because the right saw us as an easy target and the Dems took the bait by making us a national distraction when in reality we just want the same thing as everyone else. Better healthcare, housing, education, our standing socially was doing okay. Sure, it could have been improved, but being a misunderstood curiosity is better than being a target. Never in the nearly 20 years of my being in this community has things felt this scary. That I'll agree on of the this is definitely worse than it was like even 10 years ago. What the fuck? I don't want spicy pics. I just wanted to see what else you post. Okay, I don't. Okay. It's not like the Dems took the bait. The right wing simply does fear mongering, correct, as they've done since the fucking dawn of time. Our rights are not being taken away because Democratic Party somewhat battles the right on the topic. They are being taken away because the right wing financed a whole institution and a few notable propagandists to spread misinformation and fear context, essentially creating a problem, and used that to ride a horse of being this problem solvers, among many other things where they used to be. Okay, I'm not going to read all this. What I will see, what I will say is fucking to back that, the Dems only recently, honestly, started speaking up about trans rights and trans issues. Um, the right has been attacking us since like one forever, but in like been ramping up since like 2016, since Trump did the ban in the military. Um, excuse me. So like, and very few politicians on the left were outspoken against that at the time, and just kind of rode the wave. So I think it's more, oh shit, they were leaving us out to dry. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Anyways, is this worth getting mad about in Ask LGBTQ or Ask LGBT? This is a pretty small situation, but I wanted to you, I wanted you guys 2 cents on it. For context, at the time I was a 16-year-old male gay. My parents are pretty deep Christians, while I personally am a closeted atheist. See, this I can relate with, though agnostic. Around them, and though I would have said atheist at 16, around them in the last few months, I've realized they are absolute jerks. They get, at the time I'm thinking this might be now. They get pissed off at me over tiny things and get after me to the point I'm in the corner crying and occasionally muttering incoherently to the point I can't talk. So a while back, I let it slip that I was gay to my mother, and she seemed to have no problem with it. And around Christmas, they wanted me to go to church with them. And for obvious reasons, I didn't want to go with the reputation Christians have and the fact I'm not religious anyways. I told her about the first reason, and she tried to get me to go anyways despite it, without asking me, and without even asking me, out of me to my dad. Obviously, I was pissed about it and felt betrayed. My dad wasn't as friendly about it. Nothing crazy, but definitely wasn't happy. Though over time, I was able to confuse them to the point they, again, have no clue what my sexuality is. This happened a while ago, and I wanted your guys' 2 cents about it. Did I overreact or what? Overreact to what? Oh, to being out of shit. Okay. Yes and no. The reason why small yes is, in my eyes, I've always seen a married couple is always going to communicate things with each other. Now, I do think that bringing the kids into it, and especially when um when the married couple in question is not always on the same page about things, that's when it's like, okay, for your safety as the child, you should assume it. But at the same time, as the parent, your responsibility should be to prioritize the child's well being over your relationship with your partner. Uh, so that's why I just say a small yes, mostly no. Like, obviously, you should be pissed off that your mom outed you. Um, Of course, you aren't overreacting. Your parents are bigoted assholes trying to force their religion on you, likely in an attempt to fix you. You have every right to be angry at them. Uh, okay, that I don't exactly agree with either. Maybe in the dad's eyes, but something that I feel a lot of people who are not around Christians often, and unfortunately, I still am. Um, is a lot of it, like with almost every religion, is community driven. So them saying they want to go to church on Christmas or around Christmas is probably just like, hey, we're having a holiday social gathering at the church. I mean, it's probably service and stuff, but like I see it as more a holiday thing, honestly, probably in the parents' eyes than a religious thing. Now, and also they don't know that you're atheist. So I don't know. I don't know. It didn't sound like they were trying to fix me. It's more just he just had an air of disdain. Well, more than normal, I guess. They don't even know I'm an atheist because I just keep it secret to myself. They're responding in a way that hopes to shame you back in the closet. No, my suggestion is to play their game better than they are and make them think you've learned your lesson and be as free as you want inside your own head. Okay, though, it didn't seem like they were trying to force me into the closet again. It was just a bit dismissive of it. And they did tell me the church was progressive, but they showed no proof or whether that's true or not. And there's always those types who say they love you, but you're wrong. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just overreacting. Okay, I'm going to save that one to comment on later as well because, you know, these two comments really feel like people that have been deeply wronged by the Christian community, which is fair, but also automatically assuming they're trying to force your religion on you. The religion they already believe you have, likely in an attempt to fix you when they've not outwardly express that at all. They're responding in a way to shame you back into the closet. This wasn't a response to the gay thing. I let it slip, and she seemed to have no problem with it. And around Christmas, they wanted me to go to church with them. Um, I told her about the first reason, which was, hey, the church isn't, you know, Christians aren't usually good with queer people. And she tried to get me to go anyways, despite it, and without even asking me, outed me to my dad. See, that's the outing to the dad is the bad part here. I mean, I don't know. All of it's not great, but I don't think they overreacted. Anyways, let's move on from that one. How long did it take for your estrogen and testosterone levels to reach cis female levels? MTF. I have 3 months HRT, but my E is still too low and my T is still too high. I'm wondering at this stage, is it normal or do most people already reach satisfactory levels by the 3 months marks? This person says about 3 weeks. This person says about 3 months. There's a study that shows it usually takes about 9 months for adjustment to get there. My own levels weren't enraged until the 2 year mark. Um, okay, so for me personally, my HRT. Hello? Okay, you can hear me now. Is my mouse working again? Now it's working again. Okay, holy shit. Remember a few days ago in the premiere of when I was switching from Titanfall's multiplayer premiere to the Darwin Products premiere and I was saying USB problems were happening? That just happened again. I need to probably do an update on my computer. Anyway, sorry about that pause. I think it froze as soon as I uh was talking about my specific journey with this. Okay, so my HRT journey is a bit different than most people's. Um, so I went through Planned Parenthood, and my doctor at the time went through everything, and I'm in an informed consent state. So they very adamantly were like without saying this because I don't think they legally can, but they were pretty adamant that they did not think I was trans. And so they put me on the lowest dose of estrogen and I don't think, had me on a testosterone blocker at all. I was like, okay, we'll see you again in 3 months. And then that happened. And 3 months later, we're like, hey, so how's it going? And I'm like, great. The estrogen's like really fixing a lot of the brain issues I've had, and and it's been helping a lot. And they were like, oh, okay. So like, what changes are you hoping for? And I'm like, well, as I expressed in the first visit, and then I went over it again. And so that's when they put me on a double dose of the estrogen they got me, which I learned was what the initial dose is typically for when you start. And then finally got a testosterone blocker. And I was on that for a few months. And I was like, hey, I'm liking these changes, but I really don't like the fluctuation that comes with the pills. So I was like, maybe shots would work better. So then I went on to shots for I think the next 6 months, where I would shoot myself once a week. And again, the first 3 months they were like, you're not going to need a testosterone blocker. Um, and my progress had actually reversed. So a lot of things that had, you know, changed were starting to change back. Even though I was on time with my shots and everything, and we did a hormone check at 6 months, and my so that was the other weird thing. We didn't do a hormone check each time. We did a hormone check at 6 months, which was after the pills, and then we did it at a year after the shots. And so at 6 months on the pills, my testosterone was, I want to say, still in the triple digits, and my E was like still in the double digits, which is not cis levels. I mean, for a cis woman, I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, but I think it's anywhere between 60 to 100, um, for testosterone, and then 2 to 400 for estrogen. So I was under both of those at 6 months, and then on the shots, I was again. I had actually gotten no change in the estrogen, and my testosterone was higher. Um, so we swapped to patches, and I swapped doctors within uh, Planned Parenthood. Um, and then we did a 3 month check in on patches, where I was doing one patch and uh, two testosterone blockers a day. And then, or it might have been one and one. Anyways, finally my estrogen was around 200 and my testosterone was below 100. And my doctor at the time was very concerned about that. They were like, well, that's not what we typically like to do with our trans patients. And I'm like, okay, but this is actually starting to be within cis levels, which is what I want. I understand there's some stronger health risks, but I'm feeling like myself for the first time in like 20 years. So maybe we continue doing this. And they're like, okay. And eventually I got on two patches, two testosterone blockers a month. Now my testosterone is typically in single digits, and my estrogen is high 200s to somewhere in the 300s. Um, if I'm remembering correctly. I could check all this, but I'm not going to. Um, and again, I got swapped to a different doctor again in Planned Parenthood. And I was like, it's time to just finally get actual primary care doctor that can do this. So I swapped to that. And my primary care doctor has been a lot more adamant about doing hormone changes, or hormone testing, and the levels. They're perfectly happy with where my levels are. And they're on top of stuff too. Like they called me yesterday to set up an appointment for 3 months from now so that we can check all this stuff again. Um, so yeah, uh, very happy with that stuff. So, anyways, uh, my journey was out of the ordinary, for sure. And I think took about 18 months before I was at cis levels. Was it really 18 months? How long have I been on? It's been almost 3 years. I think it's been like 30 months ish. 30, maybe 29 months. It couldn't be 18. Maybe it was just a year. I don't remember exactly. But from what I remember researching, it's usually around the 6 to 9 months mark if you have competent doctors. Um, 3 weeks is crazy. 3 weeks is that guy from the earlier story, from the first story. That's that. Holy shit. Also, yeah, that's the other thing is like this is going to be different for everyone because everyone has different hormone levels as is. Like uh my testosterone levels were average. My estrogen levels were below average, if I remember correctly. I think they were pretty much non-existent, which is very surprising because there are some changes where I'm like, this is how I felt during puberty. It's been making me a bit wanting to get some other testing done. But I've known some people that find out they're intersex afterwards, and it's like, oh, we got to take your hormone. Like even the entry level stuff is like, oh, we got to take it down because you actually had a bunch of estrogen already, or low testosterone already. Like if my dad has a thing where he does not produce testosterone, and I wish he had passed that on to me for the love of God. Anyways, yeah. Also, my dad's on HRT. Which he kept hidden from us for years. But yeah, not just for trans people. Last one, am I the asshole for pretending to not know my new girlfriend? Probably. I'll be honest, I definitely kind of feel like an asshole, but my friends and dad are I'm not. I'm assuming they mean say I'm not. So I've been dating this girl for about 3 months, and so far things are going good. She's been great in most every day. I'm guessing they mean she's been great mostly every day. I don't know. So we decided to take a couple's weekend and fly to a big city near us and have a little romantic weekend. I'm not sure if it was anxiety or maybe the few drinks she had. And honestly, I was listening to a podcast and didn't really hear the full context of an argument. But things got heated between her and a flight attendant. There was sweating, screaming, and it got intense quick. And the cops must have been close because they were quick to. They. What the hell? I don't know if English isn't this person's first language. Like, there's no misspellings, it's just the grammar. Uh, the cops. I'm gonna generalize. I'm gonna. What's the word? I don't remember the word, but I'm gonna summarize. Um, the cops must have been close because they were there quick at the attendant's request. Suddenly, she's being thrown off the plane, and a mean-looking cop is asking me if I'm with her. And I don't know, man. My automatic response was, "No, I've never met her before today." I'm not sure they bought it or were taking pity on me, but they let me be and dragged her off. My girlfriend X is nonstop swearing the way out. I end up having a solo weekend and she hasn't reached out in a week, but I know she's safe and back home. For someone that is very conflict averse, this was a nightmare scenario, and I really didn't want to deal with it in the moment. Is there more to this? Or is that it? Post has been removed. Of course. Um, who you're both an asshole and not an asshole. So you're definitely an asshole for still going on the vacation, unless you're like, you know what, I'm not putting up with this anymore. And we're already planning on breaking up with her. But in that case, you should have made it official. Um, at the time, look, I'll be honest. If my spouse would never get to that situation, so let's say I was there with a friend. If my friend acted that way, and they were getting dragged off, I would say no, I don't know, because I was like And it would be somewhat an asshole thing to do because I'm not standing by my friend. But also, my friend's probably in the wrong. I don't know. Definitely an asshole. Just not sure it's as bad as your girlfriend here. I miss the days when people actually put effort into their creative writing exercises. Is this not an actual one? Your post has been removed. There is no interpersonal conflict here for our community to make a judgment about. I don't know, but this is funny as fuck. I think the funniest part is my girlfriend ex. Like, yeah, dude, pretty sure she's your ex at this point. Not least because why would you want to keep dating someone who does shit like that? My cousin is exactly like him, happily carrying on without his girlfriend. I love that guy. This was a good lesson to learn 3 months in. Honestly, yeah. Yikes. OP, this sounds like my nightmare. I hope you had a wonderful weekend by yourself. Live, laugh, love. Live, laugh, love. Leave lunatics. You dodge one there. In all honesty, OP isn't anyone to write home about. Yes, I'd be horrified. Yeah. Hail Satan, eat ass is a pretty good name though. 420 comment karma. Don't touch that. All right, so that's gonna be it for Reddit. Should we do anything else today? What time is it? It's like 6. Uh, I don't know. If you're watching the VOD, stay tuned, and if you're watching the highlight, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this. Again, sorry for being confusing and saying during this stuff that I was going to be doing more of these. I hope by the end of here you can kind of understand. Like, I love doing it to an extent, but also I don't feel like it's very me content wise. So, that is why we are shifting away and it will just be this one video. So yeah, if you want more, there are other Reddit creators out there that would probably could use the support. And yeah, go check those people out. Just a YouTube search of Reddit stories or whatnot will bring up some. I'm not gonna name drop any right now, but yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.